There's just one road course in the regular season for the BRB Cup Series, and it falls here tonight in Race 5 for the Castle Smart Alarm 250. 65 laps around COTA West, and drivers will be swatting flies for every one of those circuits. Tag along for our first right-hand turns of season number 4. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Austin, Texas. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Scott Shive alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Austin is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ascendance Trucking, Ideal Lease, Sundance Pizza, Maddox Graphics, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. Let's get right into the track here, Scott. This is a tricky place to race, whether it's the full course or the West course here, and this is a modified West course from what you saw in the NASCAR Cup Series a couple of months ago. This is the original West course that takes a kind of chicane there at turns 7 and 8, instead of going a little bit longer in the S's, then hooking left, and having a slightly longer backstretch, but a much more streamlined cut through. This cut through tonight is going to cause calamity in the best of ways. It creates an extra little bit of chaos in the middle of the lap and gives these guys an extra chance where they can try and pressure a driver ahead of them into a mistake to try and set up a pass. I'm excited to see how this place goes. This is going to be an experiment for sure.
I love the West course. It really is fun, especially with that chicane. I remember the last time I got to do one race here at the West course at COTA, it was a few weeks before, and I'd hoped they would keep the chicane. Sadly, NASCAR did not, but luckily we have it here in the sim, just 2.6 miles, and we'll have 65 laps around it, but a 17-turn road course. And this is, who doesn't love COTA? I think COTA is one of those really dynamic road courses where you can really get the best of everything.
I agree. I think it's a really good road course, and it's going to definitely throw a spanner into the mix, as our old JP Costa would say. This is going to be a wild race to sort out this point standings graphic right here, because you can see how these guys have done so far through 4 ovals at Daytona, Texas, Iowa, and Michigan. Now we come to a road course. We throw some extra twists and turns into things, and we already have a tie on the chase cut line. It's a straight-up points, top 12 in points, make the chase, and that's it. There's no win and you're in. You've got to put yourself in the right position, in the top 12 positions, to make the chase, the postseason, if you will, after this regular season is up. And we'll get into the full schedule here in a moment, but this is how things look coming into tonight, race number 5 of 18. Stallings, Osmer, Walsifer, their 3 wins on top. Gavin Rogers, with just 2 starts out of 4 races, is nearly in chase contention, but he, of course, is a part-timer, even though he's racing here this evening for his 3rd start out of 5 races. Dylan Yeager has been one to watch. Kyle Heath, Johnny Wood Jr. have also been electric on the racetrack. Johnny Wood Jr. going from one side of this graphic to the other with a couple of stage wins last week at Michigan. And there's other drivers dotting this graphic: Isaiah Sutherland, Matthew Selby, I would say even Gray Walker, Nick Renner, Dakota Camper. A lot of drivers dotting this graphic that are going to be worth watching here tonight and are going to maybe sync up the show for some drivers ahead of them, depending on how fast they are here on the road course. And they've got a couple of drivers thinking to show up for them as well, because not only is Gavin Rogers racing tonight, but Season 2 and 3 champion Mason Houseman is back this evening, just like last week at Michigan, running his 2nd start of 5 races. He'll be here tonight, and in practice, Gavin and Mason both were clear of 3rd place by over a second. They have come to play. It's going to be a race for 3rd from everybody else, I think, and it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. That's a look at the point standings. Let's get into qualifying here before time runs out. Mason Houseman, as you would expect, on top, and let's flip. Here we go. Into the sim. Gavin Rogers, though, look at that. As soon as I say Mason is on top, Scott, Gavin goes and upsets him.
Yeah, Gavin was putting in an excellent lap right there. He was 5th for earlier in his 1st lap, but after that, he goes up to the top. I mean, you said it earlier when we were getting to talk about it. Season 1 champion doesn't get to run a ton anymore, but when he does, he is always a threat to be out there. And then, of course, you cannot forget about Mason Houseman, 2-time champion. And we mentioned, he's going off to basic, won't be able to run this whole season, but he's made some starts, and he's going to continue to make starts when he can. And obviously, you're a 2-time champ. You're going to be a threat no matter where we go. Here at Circuit of the Americas, he's going to try to go back to the top of the boards. He couldn't that time, so it looks like Gavin Rogers gets the best of Mason Houseman for the front 2 spots.
And Roger still has a chance to go faster. He's on lap number 3, and these drivers get 3 laps in this special 10-minute qualifying session. Dylan Yeager, the best of the rest so far. He completes his laps here at a 1:38.232, much closer than anybody else was in practice. So a very solid qualifying effort from driver 42. He's been great on the ovals, said he might not be too great on a road course. He's showing these guys the way this evening at COTA. Go down the list, Jared Hughes, Brendan Maddox, Kyle Heath, Johnny Wood Jr. now in 7th. The rest of these guys just struggling for grip out on the racetrack, and if we look at the weather conditions that they're contending with, it's a really hot track, 120 degrees out there, despite the 80-degree air temperature. With those clear skies, not a cloud in the sky here in virtual Austin, oh boy, it's going to roast this place all race long.
The sun is hot out there this day at the racetrack. Let's see the weather. I think it says, 120 degrees out on track. So it is going to be a slick one for all these laps. We got a 40-degree difference between the air temperature and the track temperature. That tells you how much sun there is. Christian Barnes in his 27 going for a little bit of a spin in the back half of the course, trying to get some good laps in as well. The number 6 car out on track right now, that is Andrew Rittell. Rittell currently 15th in the qualifying charts right now. He's out on a hot lap trying to improve. Maybe he can jump up into the top 10.
A very Texan paint scheme. He'll come across the line and improve on his best lap and only get 1 spot. Goes up to 14th position from 15th spot. So an improvement there for the driver that was parked at the end of Texas, or rather Michigan a week ago. But he's got that special Lone Star 1 paint scheme back on board this evening. Here's a look at Zachary King sporting a new Florida Panthers paint scheme. You can tell who he roots for in hockey. And Zach is 29th so far in qualifying. A lot of drivers, and I do mean a lot of drivers, it seems, are dropping wheels in this qualifying session, not getting a lap in. Those would include Ronnie Osmer, Richard Wolsifer, 2 drivers on top of the standings with wins already. Dan Stockero, it seems, is still trying to get a lap in, but you've got to look at Zachary Brandvold not getting a lap, Cameron Gilmore not getting a lap, and Dakota Bly is still trying to. And there's a very special little Easter egg, if you will, on this number 25 car. This is a big Ross Chastain fan, and during the Coke 600 a couple of weeks ago in the BRB Racing League Discord channel, he was talking about, if Ross gets this thing, I'm putting watermelon numbers on my car for the next, 6 weeks or something like that. And Scott, wouldn't you know it, Ross Chastain went and won the Coke 600, doing so in a last to first challenge, and sure enough, last week in Michigan and here at COTA, the site of Ross Chastain's first NASCAR Cup Series win, Dakota Bly has those watermelon numbers present on that number 25 car. He will go 31st in qualifying, improving on what he had previously, and that's a pretty Ross Chastain way to do things. He'll be starting from the back this evening, looking for a solid effort here tonight, as he's already in the top 24 in the point standings. That'll take us into the race session. Want to take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details here. It's a 65-lap, 169-mile race with stages at the completion of 15, 30, and then 65 for stage number 3, the big stage here this evening. 5 change sets in the pit lane. We won't be using them all. 80% fuel for these guys to contend with. Fixed setup, 3 green light checkers, no fast fix. It's a standard BRB Cup Series race just on a road course. 65 laps, 169 miles, like 271.4 kilometers or something like that. It's going to be a fun one.
Gonna be a great one. Couldn't be more excited here. It's always good when we get to out here with the guys from BRB. Some great racing always commences. They go out to do battle. That's what these drivers get ready and get prepared to do, and that's what they're going to do here this evening. I'm just really impressed with Dylan Yeager. Rookie, you talked about him, and we're going to talk about him a lot more here tonight, sitting 4th on the standings right now throughout the first 4 races. You said he's just been so close to that first win. He's been right there, but hasn't quite been able to get the job done. Could tonight be that night for the 23 car for that of Dylan Yeager? I believe it's 42. I'm looking at Brendan Maddox. Brendan's tripping me up. There's Dylan Yeager in his number 42. Kind of love that paint scheme. You said it, Andrew. These drivers, not only do they bring awesome action, they bring awesome paint schemes.
That they do, and there's an update to tonight's starting grid for the Castle Smart Alarm 250. Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman letting us know that they'll be starting from the pit lane. So they will not be gridding up at the front of this field. I suspect there will be other drivers starting from the pit lane, but that is a big call from those couple of drivers to do so. Going to be interesting to see how this works out with them starting from the pits, but let's go through the Lucky Performance starting grid this evening. On pole, it would have been Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman, but now it'll be row number 2 that leads us to the green. Dylan Yeager and Jared Hughes, followed up by Brendan Maddox and Kyle Heath. Starting 7th and 8th, it'll be Johnny Wood Jr. and Isaiah Sutherland. 9th and 10th, Dustin Stallings and Stephen Borbell.
Back behind them, it'll be the 5 of Adam Buzzio and the 91 of Patrick Hernandez. Then it's Coulter Clark and Andrew Rettell, 13th and 14th. 15th and 16th will be Christian Barnes and Braxton Skinner. Then in 17th, 18th, the 3 of Dakota Camper and the 22 of Nicholas Reiner. Rounding out the top 20, Matthew Corder and Gray Walker.
Starting 21st this evening, Carl Pooler, Braden Van Wingerden in the 1 car, just ahead of Scott Fritz and Eric Jensen. Fall back to 25th and 26th, Evan Patinko, Zachary Maddox, then Cameron Carden and Jason Bottoms. Zachary King, Matthew Selby will complete your top 30. I'll rattle these off quick so we can get back to the start zone. Dakota Bly, Joshua Parent, Cody Dorsey, Sam Dyer, Dan Stockcaro and Ronnie Osmer through 36th. Then Caden Perkins, Richard Wilson in 38th, Cameron Gilmore in 39th, Robert Moyer Jr. from 40th, and finally, Zachary Brandvold this evening from the 41st spot. Here we go. Around to the start zone. There you see a couple of front runners in the pit lane for the start of this race. We're going to turn the music down and turn the engines up for 65 laps coming at you this evening from the virtual circuit of the Americas. Here we go down this long front straightaway, the longest straight on this particular layout. Looking for the green flag, a late call for it. There it is. Green flag is out this evening. We're racing at Circuit of the Americas. Dylan Yeager to turn 1. A log jam through the first corner, but I think everybody got through okay. A couple of dings and bangs in the back of the field, and maybe some drivers. There's some drivers going off the pit lane. There's Gavin Rogers. One is turned around. That's Zachary Maddox. Oh my goodness. And look at this, battle for second.
Out. There we go. Battle is on between Brendan Maddox and Jared Hughes. Hughes in that number 98. He's trying to get the point from the 23. Now here through turn 7, turn 8, in the kink, onto the back straightaway. Short little run down to turn number 13. Hard on the brakes you gotta be.
Through turn number 10 now, and Braden Van Wingerden losing some spots. He falls back behind Ronnie Osmer. There is chaos all over this racetrack. These guys trying to slot in spots and find their place in this field. This is a very unique look at this racetrack, as it looks like Dakota Bly was late to the start from the pit lane. He actually took pit service off the get-go. Unsure what happened there for the 25 car, but out front, it is all Dylan Yeager leading his way around to turns 16 and 17 as they're numbered on this West course. Here we go. Here's car 42 in the final couple of corners of lap number 1. Really nothing to go back and review, just that one car that got turned around. That was Zach Maddox. Here we go to complete the first lap at Coda.
Yeager has been close. We said it earlier in the pre-race in the grid. We got a lot of laps to run, but could two of probably some of the best in the field in Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman, them starting from the pit lane, could that assist him here tonight in maybe picking up that first win? Again, there is a lot of room to run as we see some big moments back here out of the final turn. This is Gavin Rogers in the number 17 trying to work up towards the front. He's got a lot of work to do.
But he's already 24th, make that 23rd as he dives to the inside of turn 1 on the inside of Brandvold there. Already through about half the field, make it now 22nd as he rounds turn number 2 and passes Jensen. Here he goes for 21st on Richard Wolsifer, last week's winner at Michigan. He's just gone through half of the field here at Coda, and it's only lap number 2. Midway through this second lap, Rogers will now have to pass Matthew Corder, then Braden Van Wingerden, and Gray Walker. Those are the next 3 on his list. Here he comes to car number 4.
Looking at quarter right in front. That is Gavin Rogers looking at him down into turn 10, passes the 4 right there. He's moving up and moving up the standings fast. Who thought a driver could do it that fast? Well, if you didn't think someone could, you have clearly not watched Gavin Rogers before, because you thought he might start from the back and not get a chance. Well, he's proven you wrong already, up into the top 20 early in this race. I look for the 1 car of Braden Van Wingerton up next right in front of him here through the back section of the course. And look at that drive that Rogers can get. He's going to get him this time.
Wingerton blinks out there through turn 15, but here we go. Rogers on the outside of turn 16 will make the pass. That puts him into 19th spot as Yeager goes fast as he's 2 seconds clear of Texan Brendan Maddox. I think Brennan technically lives in Oklahoma now, but Gavin, a small misstep. He'll fall back to 20th spot. A small bump in the road for him, but Mason Houseman has also worked through a large portion of the field. Mason already into the 23rd spot as there's problems for Dakota Camper ahead. It seems he might have blinked out of the session. We're waiting for him to return. But the 3 car is still dropping down by timing and scoring, and I'm a little concerned for the 3 as Mason is following in Gavin's footsteps.
It's never good when you get someone blinking out on the screen, because you might get to lose. iRacing might pull you into the pits. So you got to have that internet good and going. Jared Hughes in the number 98, just right behind Brendan Maddox. They have been together through the first 3 laps of this race. Hughes has been right here, ready for a mistake from the 23. But all the while, Dylan Yeager moving out ahead of them by 3.2 seconds as the 1 of Wingerton is turned around.
Braden Van Wingerton just had to sit forever and let every car go by. He falls all the way to 35th spot. Only a couple of cars behind him. Cody Dorsey, Sam Dyer, Dan Stockera, Dakota Bly, and Robert Moyer behind this number 1 car. Let's go back and see what happened to Braden in the midsection of this lap. He was racing with Matthew Corder. Remember, he just got passed up by Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman, and here he is. He just goes wide into the grass, comes back across, nearly collects Matthew Corder, and parks it there nicely against that outside or inside wall.
Great job from Corder there to be able to avoid, hit on the brakes real quick, let the 1 slide between them, and keep on going. A great job to Wingerton as well to wait for the field. Didn't try to compromise anyone else's race by trying to join too early. Ronnie Osmer, another one of those drivers moving through the field. He's up to 13th if he can make this pass on Christian Barnes. It might be a 2-for-1. It might also get the 6. Great job. It's a 2-for-1 deal into turn 1 for Osmer. Osmer, another one of those outstanding rookies this year. Already got a win, but he's not quite done. Looking for more here at Circuit of the Americas.
And Dakota Camper has come back to the session as there's problems in the back. Cameron Carden is slow. Dan Stockero goes around. There's the 62 machine out of turn number 6. Problems for the homemade jerky number 62. This is a special sponsorship for Stockero, a Texas-based company, jumping on board that Chevrolet Camaro. Not how he wanted this showing to go, but the ATX Jerky Company Chevrolet Camaro back on the road and headed in the right direction. We'll see what he can do as time goes on through this race. Other battles, here we go, 3 wide as Jensen gets passed up by Skinner and Gilmore into turn number 10. That was a hairy moment for all drivers involved. And Scott, we're already working up to lap number 5 here as Yeager comes around the final couple of corners. He is 4.1 seconds clear of Brendan Maddox. He's going to begin lap 5. We only have 15 laps here in stage 1 and stage 2.
Yeah, got to get all you can. You don't want to give away too much too early. Fastest lap for Dylan Yeager continues to go and power out front. He's doing such a great job, but look at that brake glow. Look at how much he is using the brakes. You've got to wonder, is he pushing a little bit too hard? As we've got another one around near the back. That's Hernandez.
Yeah, he was running in the top 10, it seemed, or close to it. But we'll see what happened to driver 91 here out of turn 17. He just over-rotated. Simply the weight transferred a little bit awkwardly in that Toyota Camry, and he went for a spin. That's another spot, as you see Gavin Rogers go through the frame, and Mason Houseman, another spot for those 2 drivers doing the back-to-front challenge. Not even back to front, but pit lane to front challenge as they work by the number 91 there. And there's a whole other aspect to this race that we haven't really talked about yet this evening. The BRB bonus brawl brought to you by Maddox Graphics, a new partner here of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. This is basically, think back to what were they called? The Noble races in the NASCAR Cup Series. Basically a special buy-in program. I think it's a buy-in of like $5 or something like that for the whole pot of however much has been raised through this program. And basically there's select races this season. I think there's Camper getting loose in the pooler. Good catch by all drivers. I'm going to review this quickly. BRB bonus brawl here in the league Discord. It is going to be... Hang on, I had it and I forgot. I know it's Coda this evening. I think Pocono. No, I don't think we're going to Pocono. I'll find it. Charlotte and Rockingham. That's the other two tracks. Coda, Charlotte, and Rockingham this season are part of the BRB bonus brawl. Essentially, the driver with the highest average finish out of those three races will get the winnings. In seasons 2 and 3, it was Adam Buzzio and Steven Borbell getting the nod there. We'll see who can do it this season in season number 4, as Cameron Gilmore has got problems in that Nintendo Switch 2 machine. He falls back to 29th spot as one car is pitting. It's Dakota Camper. This is well early in the race.
Camper just had that problem through the back section of the course as we see more smoke, more cars going around out of the final corner.
Rogers in trouble.
17. Rogers is in trouble with 17. He had a big problem back there. He fell from 14th all the way back to 19th. So another mistake for the 17.
A spin here, it seems, for the 17 car. Wait for him to pop into frame right about here. Nope, a little further, right about here. There we go. He's racing with the 6 of Andrew Rattel. Pokes to the inside there at turn 1. Catches the curb.
Oh.
I thought maybe it would have been there, but no, Rattel. Oh, wow.
Whoa!
Rattel gets into the side of the 17 car and sends Gavin Rogers for a spin. Let's jump on board with the number 6 and see what happened inside the car. Watch the dashboard, the digital dash. Did he maybe miss a shift? Just spun the tires.
I think he's just trying to get too much on exit. Yeah, going downhill, you lose a little bit of the springs in the rear. He's going to have a little bit of front wheel damage from that contact from another car coming to the outside trying to avoid. Look along here from Mason Hausman. He's right behind this. He was running in 14th right behind this when the 6 goes around. And Hausman, let's see if he's going to get any damage. Nope, he's able to get on by both of them. Woo-hoo-hoo! Rogers almost swung back and tagged him, though.
And I'm going to call that so far the lucky performance, lucky break of the day at this point in time. It's very early, a lot of laps left to go, but oftentimes I find myself saying, man, I just haven't seen anything lucky out there. Finally, we saw something lucky happen early, and I'm going to mention it before we maybe don't have anything lucky happen the rest of the day. Mason Hausman, that was a pretty lucky miss to get by both of those cars, especially the spinning and reversing. Number 17 of Gavin Rogers, as one car is in the grass in the foreground. That was Dan Stoccaro, and now Scott Fritz has turned around in the S's, it looks like. Oh boy, it's going crazy here on lap 7.
This is what is a huge thing about road courses, especially here at Coda. It is so easy to make little mistakes like that. It's honestly sometimes better to run. Oh, I see, there's another one from Scott Fritz. He's going to cut the course. We'll have to slow down from that. But let's look back at the original issue for this 48.
Looks like he's on his own into the S's. Got loose a little bit on entry of the S's and just got the anti-cut.
Oh, that is a big hit on that curb. You saw both right side wheels go off of the course, and that's what jumped him and spun him around. So Scott Fritz going to fall back a good bit of ways, back to the 26th position. All the while, the 23 of Brendan Maddox has fallen to the 98 of Hughes. But he's still got Hughes right there, right in the looking. But all the while, Dylan Yeager now 5.3 seconds ahead of both of these two second and third place cars.
Yeah, really impressive run so far from Yeager. I think he's surefire locked to win this first stage. Anything can happen, though, once these drivers start running their strategy options through this race. Yeager might even pull one of those strategy options and short pit here and try to flip the stage, even though he's leading the way and we get a bunch of points. If I were him, I preach stage points all the time here at the BRB Cup Series. I would stay on the racetrack. I would collect the stage points and simply try to drive back through, because these stage points, while you have the opportunity to get them, are just too valuable to pass up, in my opinion. But we'll see what Jaeger opts to do. And yeah, we had to touch on that pass there with Hughes and Maddox. We didn't see it happen, but we see the effects of it. Jared pulling in a second spot and starting to pull away from Brendan Maddox ever so slightly, not by much. Admittedly, Brendan is still keeping that 98 car honest, but he is close enough, I guess, but also far enough back. We'll see how this develops as the run goes on. Also, worth noting, look at Mason Houseman, and when I pull this graphic up, look at his position. 9th place. He's about to earn stage points after starting this race from the pit lane. And it's not like there have been cautions to catch him up. This is just straight up driving through the field when you have got road racing prowess. This is impressive.
It is extremely impressive. Up to 9th place for the 78. Got away from any scuffles from anyone else and has run a very clean stage 1. Zachary King in the 30. He's going to have an issue in his number 51. He's back in 30th spot because of this issue. Might lose out to this 30th spot from the driver right behind. That is Zachary Maddox in the 14.
By the way, Dakota Camper has called it a day already. He has pulled off the racetrack and exited the session, unsure what caused him to do that, but we did see him visiting the pit lane there, and I wonder if that was when he pulled off. But he is done for the day. Dan Stock-Carrier is 1 lap down, and Robert Moyer Jr. also 1 lap down. Here's a car that has taken some damage. Of course, we saw that moment for him with Gavin Rogers, but this looks like some extra damage on the 6 car maybe. Andrew Rattel has got 2 beat-up sides on that number 6, and I can't imagine it steering perfectly, at least, in that number 6 Chevrolet. He's got a lot of front bumper damage, and now is being hounded by Braxton Skinner, who has got a special paint scheme on his number 33 Toyota Camry. A new sponsor jumping on board, that's James Valley Landscaping. I believe his grandfather's company jumping on this evening.
Yes, Skinner done a pretty good job right now, sitting in 23rd, looking for 22nd if he can make the pass on the number 6 of Andrew Ritzel. A lot of drivers doing great jobs. Ronnie Osmer, he sits in 10th right now. He moved up from the back as well. He had a problem in qualifying. Gavin Rogers continues to try to move up from that spin with the 6 car. He's back up to 14th after falling to 19th. So about back to where he was early.
And here he is chasing Christian Barnes. It'll update here in a moment, I promise. There we go. The graphic updates to show Christian Barnes as the car that he's chasing, and he will make that pass. It looks like here in turn number 1, an opportunity is taken there by car 17. He will move on past that 27 car, although Christian did not want to give it up. That'll be for 13th spot on the racetrack. And you mentioned Ronnie Osmer currently in 10th spot. He is holding on to the final stage point here in stage number 1, now right behind Dustin Stallings, who's been passed up by his teammate Mason Houseman. Ronnie Osmer in a very valuable spot. Steven Vorba would like to get it, but Steven is about 1.5 seconds back as they work around the back end of the circuit here on lap number 10. Let's revisit our race leader for just a moment, Dylan Yeager. It's been a very chaotic 10 laps, but he's led every single one of them. And this CFM Performance Chevrolet, I was talking to you pre-race, pre-broadcast even, trying to give you a briefing, because the last time you covered these guys was early in Season 3, when they went to Austria for their first road course of the season then. And there are some new names here in the series, Scott. This is one of them that has rung every single bell other than the winner bell. That is the only thing he's not done so far in this season, is win a race. I don't know how it's going to go with the stage breaks and bringing Gavin and Mason back into it, but right now, it's hard to say he isn't in contention for the win.
His job will continue to get tougher and tougher as this race goes on, especially when we bring in those guys like Mason Houseman and Ronnie Osmer and, of course, Gavin Rogers. So Yeager, he's kind of been unchallenged right now. He's 6 seconds up on Jared Hughes and Brendan Maddox in 2nd and 3rd place. But this has been good for him. He's kind of being able to learn how much he needs to conserve about pulling away. He might be able to learn that now, so that then when those big top guns are up there with him, when we get our breaks from the stages, he might have been able to learn something here from this point in the race. Osmer looking for 9th place on Dustin Stallings. Stallings has really been the man this year. It's still early. We got a lot of races left to go as we see the 15 blink out there for just a second. But Stallings Stallings this year has been the man leading the championship right now.
Yeah, Stallings and Osmer have been the top two of the series over these first 4 races, have been a factor in every single one, but throw in race number 5 here tonight on a road course, and they're just a little bit of a tick behind, and I'm impressed because Osmer was not up there in practice charts. He was a little behind the mark. He has gotten there in the race, though. Being consistent is going to do that here. Even if you're a little bit off raw pace, simply being consistent in a car like this, on a track like this, is going to pay dividends, and that's exactly what's happening here for car 15. He is making ground though on that double lot machine and would like to pass that double lot Toyota Camry if he can do so here in the next 4 laps before the end of stage 1. And here we go, Dakota Bly getting lapped. He'll go behind these guys, and there's a bump from Osmer to Stallings there through turn 17.
Osmer not afraid to try to move the bumper, try to move over that of Stallings to try to get these points, looking for the dive. Now he's going to take it out wide, try to crisscross the 00 of Stallings. He'll try it here. They're going to make a little bit of contact. Wow, Osmer really going for it. He's going to be an outside here of turn 2. We're going to try to power through, but he's going to have to let go, pushes out wide. Stallings is going to hold on to it here into the S's.
Stallings still ahead, but not for long, I think. Osmer's looking really good. He's just got to piece one of the pass attempts together and get ahead of that 00. This is allowing Adam Buzzio to get away, as there's a problem for the 4 car. Matthew Corder had put together a really good first stage. I was not confident at all coming into this race. He's a part of Whiplash Racing, so I was privy to his pre-race, exploration of the racetrack and his preparation. But here, oh my gosh, just a terribly missed corner by Braxton Skinner completely. I mean, to be fair, they both missed the corner really badly. But Braxton maybe a little worse, and he just gets to the back of the 4 car and turns him around. Matthew was trying to woe it down after realizing he missed the corner, and Braxton was just along for the ride there, as it looks like Dustin Stallings has had a problem. He falls back to 12th spot, allowing Ronnie Osmer, Stephen Borbell, and Gavin Rogers to go by. So now, Scott, the battle for Rogers is to break into that 10th position to get himself a stage point. It doesn't really mean anything. He's not going for points, but it would be just that much more in the bank for the 17, as actually here it comes to the pit lane.
Why not? You got 2 more opportunities. You maybe could have gotten the points, but like you said, he's not really going for points. He just runs when he wants to, and so why not try to flip the stage and be able to get out front for the second one? Who knows what we'll see in terms of how drivers will choose to pit. So a great call for the 17 of Rogers. We got Nicholas Reiner here in 18th doing a pretty swell job for himself.
And this is another driver on Whiplash Racing that he actually told me he was going to flip the stage. And he told me that. I didn't want to say it beforehand, give anybody any other ideas, but now that we're at that point, I'll say it. He told me he was going to flip the stage. We'll see if that plan has changed for him. He's only got 1 more opportunity to come around a pit, because the pit's close, actually, I think, with 2 to go on the stage, so he might have just passed it up there. That might have been his only opportunity to do so, as there's other drivers slow. Maddox slow there in turn 17, and it looks like the only driver to pit and try to flip this stage was the 17 of Gavin Rogers. I can't even track him down. He's 24th. After taking a full service stop, he is 24th on the racetrack. Very impressive run so far out of Rogers, and he will likely be able to stay out at the end of this stage and start from the front. There's Yeager. That is now 2 to go in stage 1. I believe the pit lane is now closed, as we have a great battle starting for 3rd.
Great battle for 3rd between Maddox and Sutherland. Sutherland's kind of been holding there all race long, just hanging out behind the 23, slowly hunting him down. Sutherland has looked well for himself. He's currently 10 points to the good over the cut line, sitting in 8th. Sutherland looking for some more precious stage points here, because they are so important. Another car ran out of the final corner. That's Coulter Clark.
Coulter Clark trying to get back on the racetrack here. Some wheel spins, some grass there for the 54, but he gets back going in 16th. Back up to that battle for 3rd. Brendan Maddox, Isaiah Sutherland, they do not like each other off the racetrack, nor do they like each other on the racetrack, and there's problems for Nick Renner. He's actually on the pit lane, so he made the call anyways. I thought pit lane would have been closed, but he comes in for service along with the 91 of Patrick Hernandez. They're going to attempt to flip this stage as well, and Dan Stockero there in the background, he's been on the pit lane. He actually towed to the pits about a minute ago. So problems for the 62. Great looking paint scheme, but off the racetrack here on lap 14 as here we go. Final few corners of lap 14. The 23 and 24. Again, not exactly fans of one another. They've had a couple of run-ins. Think back to Texas earlier this season. Here they are battling for third in the stage.
A little bit of one of those rivalries here early in the season for the 24 and the 23. Sutherland just a little bit less than half a second back, but he's going to have one more lap to try to set up this pass. Might not be close enough here to make the move into one unless he takes it deep.
Riding on board with Isaiah Sutherland, they're just behind Jared Hughes, so these guys really in a train, second, third, fourth, and fifth. With Houseman about 8 seconds back, he'll advance no farther than sixth here in stage one, it looks like. Here we go, an opportunity for Sutherland to get alongside Maddox, and he's going to turn him through the S's. Contact there. Oh, that rivalry just got that much sweeter. Brendan Maddox will not take kindly to that. No matter which driver moved on who, that is going to absolutely spark whatever was there.
Well, we have got a rivalry, and it is not going anywhere. Race fans, if you love a little aggression, well, you saw it there. And we'll have to take a replay look at it. We'll get to the end of the stage before we'll probably get to that point. But you saw Sutherland fighting hard. What is it? The 23 left the door open, and Sutherland took a look.
And now these guys are a couple of affiliated teammates. Sutherland and Heath, they might actually both be on Races for Christ. Yes, they are. So they are teammates here, third and fourth spot. Houseman now moves up to fifth, but here comes Dylan Yeager around the final two corners of lap 15. This will end stage number one. And yes, we'll get a look back at that moment between Maddox and Sutherland as Maddox goes back ahead of Houseman. I think that was some team orders to get Maddox that extra point, as there's the caution for Dylan Yeager reaching the end of stage one. Heath will just get Sutherland, it looks like, for third. So Heath, maybe not. I don't know. There's too much craziness happening. This is the end of stage one.
That was crazy, a crazy end to stage one, especially for that of Sutherland and Maddox. Maddox is able to get back to fifth after that spin. The field had gotten so spread out, but one of our rookies, Dylan Yeager, will win stage number one. Those points are so precious. They are so important. You got to take them while you can get them, especially an early point like this in the season, because weeks to weeks can swing when you don't have that points build up behind you.
Now let's go back and get the much awaited replay of what happened between the 23 and 24 cars. We've got to click a few times here, and that's the moment. So we'll go back just a little bit further, but that is the moment that is going to refire everything that was in the kindling between these two. Here's the 24 car on board. This is turn two, up to turn three. Sutherland has a great run.
Yeah, I just think the 23 didn't give him room.
I'm going to have a two-parter for my take on this, because I'll be honest, that is a pretty low percentage place to try and pass.
It is.
That car is going to track out to the curbing, and Maddox felt like he was owed that ability to track out, and therefore took it. The problem there is I think self-preservation should kick in for Brendan, and he should recognize in the mirror that 24 is coming. Let me not track out there. I think that's a two-parter. I think these guys kind of both are at fault here. And because it doesn't cause a caution, I don't know if race control is going to have to review on this, but I got to say, I think Rev might view it the same way. Our race controller here, he tends to recognize when two drivers could have done something differently to avoid an incident. He tends to bring that up, and I think this is one of those cases. I'll let you go now.
Yeah, Sutherland definitely could have backed out right there, but at the same time, Maddox definitely could have maybe left the room, because you can see the 23 is not going to move over the track. He's not going to give Sutherland any more than this gap is right there. He's going to try to cut him off, try to force him to back out, but Sutherland, he's trying to move up the track to arc the entry up into turn three, all the while Maddox is not going anywhere, so Sutherland moves him out of the way.
That is a really, really tricky spot. And quite frankly, we are on a road course, so I'll bank on some of my road course experience, my knowledge, what I've learned over the last few years around groups like Lucky Performance who go road racing in the real world. Quite frankly, race control in the real world, I think with physical cars, would probably rule on the 24 car. A road series here would probably rule that the 24 is at fault because it's a low percentage place to try and pass. There's barely a car with there, and he never really gets truly alongside the 23 to establish positioning. That, man, this is a really, really tricky.
It's a tough
incident. Yeah. One more look, but we'll come back to live picture.
You know, especially between race control, I think both drivers could have done something to avoid this, and therefore it's going to most likely be deemed a racing incident. But even though we talk about that with race review, they're both going to say, hey, the other could have done this, while maybe not recognizing, hey, I could have done this, and it's just going to make them mad at each other.
Yeah, this is definitely going to spill into the league Discord after this evening's race. That is not the end of those two drivers racing around one another. I'm going to say that for sure. Pit stops have now happened here at the end of stage one. Gavin Rogers ahead of Nick Renner and Johnny Wood Jr. Renner stays out. He gets second. Hernandez also stayed out, but he's only going to line up in fifth as there's a couple of lapped cars up here as well, those being Cody Dorsey and Dakota Bly. But we've got to drop all the way to fifth position here, maybe fourth, one of the two, as Hernandez will actually go wide. He might be going to the rear of the field. Renner as well. Yeah, I think this is going back to what I was saying. I'm pretty sure they missed their opportunity to pit before the end of stage one. I think they're going to the rear here. You're in the session. Maybe you can tell me right or wrong here.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I think they the same as the 91. They came in a lap too late. They might not have realized, I guess, at the road courses that that's how it was going to play out. Maybe the same as the others. Not sure if they realized that they had to make that pit stop one lap before.
Well, let's dial up Dylan Yeager here as we sit under caution for at least one more lap. Yeager, our stage one winner. And I have a feeling he's going to be rather happy about this. He's definitely outpacing the rest of his team as he comes home first in stage number one. Dylan Yeager, a stage win here on a road course. Now, I know Mason and Gavin, they started from the pit lane, so that's part of it. But circumstances be circumstances. You still got all those stage points. How does that feel for your 2025 season number 4 effort here?
It feels nuts. If you would have told me that I would have won a stage on a road course, I would have told you were on crack or something. But, I mean, we'll take it. I thought I was going to be horrible this week, but I put in a lot of laps of practice, and I guess I wasn't too bad. So, we'll take it. I'll try and keep up with Gavin here the best I can, and we'll just try to stay within him. He's really fast, so I don't know what happens here, but we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, of course, Gavin, a second clear in practice. He's got a lot of pace, but what's the most challenging part of this road course? Because we've seen these guys, all of you guys, have trouble with the elevation, the car kind of taking weight at certain points, rotating weirdly. What's the most challenging aspect of this road course this evening? As somebody who is still learning road courses, I know in general, your whole team, a bunch of dirt racers that are trying this asphalt thing out, and now we throw in some twists and turns. What's challenging about this evening?
Yeah, just turning right, first off, as crazy as it sounds, it's weird turning the wheel right and actually having the car go right. So I'm still working on that. Turn 1, I don't really have a break point for turn 1. I'm kind of just winging it, and we've been, working that out. And then the slow section in like sector 2 and 3, I'm a little bit bad there on the brakes, but we'll keep working at it. Hopefully make up some more pace here and give Gavin a run.
Well, hey, you're one of those rookies that is bringing the fight to all of these regulars. Congratulations on the stage win. Hopefully we're talking to you again later.
Thank you. I hope so, too.
Dylan Yeager lighting this series on fire this season. He has really brought some competition. He, Ronnie Osmer, Kyle Heath have all been so good from the jump as rookies here in season number 4. For this restart, though, things are going to change up a little bit with Gavin Rogers out ahead in car 17. He will finally be out front here on a road course this evening where we expect him. But Mason Houseman is buried back in the top 10. They did take their choose. He chose the inside. He's going to line up right around 11th spot, it looks like, for this restart. And this, thankfully, the start of the race, Scott, was pretty tame. This restart could be a little crazy.
Well, and I got to wonder, Sutherland and Maddox are somewhat near each other. We're going to have to keep an eye on them too, especially as we get going through this first part of the restart into stage number 2. But it's going to be a heavy rush, land rush down into turn number 1. But Gavin Rogers will be out front. That's got to be a worry for a lot of drivers back there that might also feel that they have cars to contend with the win. Because Gavin Rogers, again, we've said it, he is one of the best. And so you're going to have to go out there and try to best him.
Well, there's the field working at a turns 16 and 17 here on lap 18. This is going to cut this stage a little bit shorter as far as green flag laps. That will still be going to the completion of lap number 30. Clearly they have enough fuel to make it, enough tires to make it. Let's see how this works out for stage number 2. A long line in the back of single file cars. Also, new this week, these drivers cannot fire in the restart zone. They've got to wait for the iRacing given green flag. Rogers is waiting on it here. We should get it in a moment. There's the iRacing green flag. We're off to the races again here in the Castle Smart Alarm 250. One in the wall. That was Scott Fritz. Here we go, though, for the restart up front. Big 4-wide move from Pooler. And around goes Maddox.
Over the curb. Sutherland. There goes Sutherland, got into him again. Not sure if that was just because one was in front. Maddox looks like he might have something broken or he's wiggling some dirt off. Pooler, what a great move. He's getting quite a few spots on this restart. Maddox here trying to recover from getting sideways. Didn't go all the way around, but he is falling back. He lost about 5 positions from that incident.
If I know anything about Brendan Maddox, he's going to see red until he pulls up to the back end of that 24 car, and then who knows what happens. This is going to reinvigorate everything we've already seen from those two. Up ahead, though, Mason Houseman puts a dive bomb here on Ronnie Osmer. That's good for the 5th spot. One car around to the back, a couple of cars around to the back. We'll keep on going as we stay green flag here. Only local yellows unless there's a track blocker, and this could be it. Oh, a couple of cars sideways, a couple of cars making contact still. Jason Bottoms, hang on to it, brother.
Oh, my goodness. Cars going everywhere, people fighting for it. You know that this is the best time to try to gain position. And Carl Pooler, what a great job he's doing.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and review that restart here in a moment, but with the 23 pulling up on the 24, all eyes are on Maddox and Sutherland right now as Rogers will pull away by about 7/10 of a second over Dylan Yeager after one lap of racing. Watch turn 1 here, Scott. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is gonna be sketchy. I think Maddox would try to get a little closer if he's going to pull a move. So I think he might wait until just a little bit later. But I expect it to get rough between these two. Maddox gonna try to close in. Big move right behind them. A little bit of a lockup. 2 cars behind.
That's Borbell on Pooler. They sort that out for now. Mason Houseman, by the way, going on by Richard Wolsifer through turns 2 and 3. Houseman now up to 4th. And I wonder, I think we've seen the cards now played by Gavin Rogers. I think we'll see it again here in stage number 2. I think he likely flips the stage again to have the front of the field for the beginning of stage 3. I would expect that same pit strategy. I wonder, does Mason Houseman join that call, or does he just run it out to the stages? We'll find out here shortly as here we go. Sutherland on Osmer, and Maddox is going to try to follow through.
Try to follow through here in the back section of the course right after into turn 13. This is a little double apex corner. So Maddox trying to get it from Osmer. He's got a little buffer now in between him and that of Sutherland. Osmer looks like 10th place, 7th to 10th has been right around where that car has been running. Earlier in stage 1, we saw him couldn't get past as we've got another spinner. It's the number 46. I believe that is Matthew Shelby.
Yeah, Selby around. Not great for the 46 car. He's been up front a lot this season. He is a returning driver from season number 3. But that is not how he wants his day to be going here as we work lap 21. We've got another problem for Dustin Stallings now. He was slow in the back couple of corners. All right, this has all kind of died down. Let's go back to the beginning of this stage. We'll take a couple of reverses here in the replay screen. Give me one moment to get back to it. I think I've got it here just about. Yeah, here we go. Watch the 71, Carl Pooler. And he's going to make a big move. He's 7th in line. Dives to the inside of his teammate Richard Wolsifer, and I'm glad he got on the brakes from there because he easily could have taken another row or two, but he backed out of it. And then you see that moment between the 24 and 23. I think that might have added fuel to the fire. Let's go back and look at that as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing. It was a 4-wide situation, and you know Sutherland kind of just got pushed into the 23 of Maddox there. I don't think there was honestly anything he could have done in that scenario. But the 23 of Maddox will not care about that. He will have just saw Sutherland go by, and he won't know of what was going on the inside. He'll just be mad at Sutherland.
So Maddox lined up behind Sutherland, chose the high road, went on the outside, and then Wolsifer got into Sutherland, and that put the 24 into the 23.
Yeah, but again, Brendan Maddox will have seen none of that, and he'll just be seeing, like we said, seeing red at Sutherland. We'll see it again here, right along with Brendan Maddox on the outside. It was a great run. He was going to clear him, but yeah, you saw Wolfsburg just get in a little bit hot, have to move high because of Pooler. So that made a big stack up 4 wide, rounding out of turn 1.
I think it's probably good for everybody that the 23 has not been able yet to get back to the 24 car. I'm not saying he's going to do anything, but I would bet on maybe a bumper. At least some contact, body panels being used.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying is going to happen here. I really don't think Brennan would jeopardize anything beyond that. But I do think displeasure will be shown whenever those two are back together on the racetrack, because there's a problem here for Braxton Skinner. He gets back rolling, but not before some damage on that 33 car. So storylines aplenty as we work stage 2 here. Golly, this is one crazy race. Even on a road course, these guys know how to excite.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of road course races from some people, you'll get them all strung out, and then it'll be, you know, a pass maybe every 2 laps or so. But here we see cars going around this 35 right around right now.
That's Sam Dyer getting back going.
Sam Dyer having a problem. So we're being kept interested here, and we hope you are as well, race fans.
Here's a look at Zachary Brandvold working on Matthew Corder. This is for 17th spot. Corder recovering after that spin we saw a little bit ago. Dustin Stallings, also a highlight here, considering he was high up in the top 10 at one point. If we bring up his stats for the race so far, started 9th, got as high as 7th, but is now down to 15th spot. And he's got another car that's right in front of him that we thought was going to be up front all race, it felt like in stage 1. Jared Hughes, from 2nd in stage 1, down to 14th here. This is an even bigger fall than Stallings. This is a huge fall for not only somebody who's looking for a bunch of points, but also one of our BRB bonus brawl contenders in that 98 car.
Yeah, Hughes, you can see it just has not been able to move through the field after this restart. Was running really well in 2nd position ahead of Maddox early on in stage 1 once he was able to get past, but hasn't been able to move up past where he started on this restart. Now, the 56 of Wolfsburg gets around Sutherland.
I think it's actually Sutherland approaching Wolsifer.
I was going to say Sutherland is hunting him down. Wolfsburg got through after that contact into one that we looked at. Now Sutherland looking to make the move.
An aggressive move, but it works.
Sutherland is trying to work through him.
He's getting aggressive here on this road course. Wolfsburg bound up on the inside there at the apex. This is going to bring up a bunch of cars. Osmer and Maddox are closing. As Sutherland, I think, is going to have him here through the mid-section of the racetrack, the stadium section, if you will. Osmer going to follow through as well. Osmer going to take the outside around the carousel. And watch this 23. All of this while Mason Houseman chases Dylan Yeager. Here we go. Wolsifer, he's not done yet. Maddox right behind the 15. He backs out of it wisely. Sutherland a little free. Osmer out there as well. This is good racing between these guys. They have all got a good handle on the race car. Even though they're still slipping and sliding, you can tell they've got this thing down.
What a great clump of drivers here. A great clump of action. Big move from the 23. Sends it to the inside of Wolsifer. They're almost 3 wide for a second. And there we go. Contact from Maddox into Wolsifer. And Osmer is going to move through on both of them. So all these 4 going back and forth at it, and them 3 going back and forth at it between Wolsifer, Maddox, and Osmer has let Sutherland get a little bit of a gap to them. Oh, there we go. It's going to go 2 wide through 6.
A bobble there from Wolfsburg. That gets Maddox completely out of his sorts. He falls back through this little chicane section, mid-section of the racetrack, back onto the back straightaway. That cut through is treacherous if you don't set it up right in turn 6. Whoa, Buzzio to the inside of Heath. A big dive, and he's going to wipe out himself. Oh, my goodness. Where was he going?
I do not know. That was a big sin from Buzzio, and it did not work out. Can't say that we're surprised. Take a look back at that. What a big move it was. Buzzio was trying to cross up the 13th. Yeah, just laid on the brakes, gets loose, locks up the rears, and hard into the 75. That was a big hit for Johnny Wood Jr.
Shades of Patrick Hernandez from Red Bull Ring a season ago. This is a big swerve, big swing and a miss for Buzzio. He dives there and just... He had one last little stab to the throttle that did not do him any favors. Oh my gosh. I think his car is okay. I think Johnny's car is okay, but that could have gone a lot more poorly.
Well, and that's one thing. Rev just mentioned it here. You get offline like that as we got Wolfsburg going around. So the 56 having problems, he's going to fall back. He was running almost in the top 5, but now he's down to 16th, 17th. And falling back just a little bit more. We'll look and see what happened to him. He was racing here with the 23 of Maddox. This is through the carousel down towards the end of the course. It looks like, I'm going to guess that he got loose out of 17. Oh, he gets loose earlier. He catches it. Wow.
Yeah, he was loose there out of 16, then dove back on Maddox into 17 and just completely misjudged that.
Goodness.
Tried to get back to power, I think, here, and then loops it on the grass.
Oh. Almost had it. Front nose damage there for Wolfsburg. Falls back. I think he officially landed in 18th, but he was running in the top 10. That's going to be a difficult recovery, but we're still before halfway. But he's still continuing to get loose even now.
Yeah, Matthew Corder now looking on him. Matthew in the 19th spot. Wolfsburg 18th. Nick Renner right ahead. Teammate to Matthew Corder. So he's in a Whiplash Racing sandwich right now between Renner and Corder. Also, Matthew Selby working here on Josh Parent. There's a roadblock ahead of Zach King trying to get by Robert Moyer Jr. Moyer a lap down. These 3 battling for position as they work up to that number 16 in this little chicane cut through. Selby all sorts of out of order, and Moyer just kind of making his own line.
Oh my goodness. Look, we've seen it out of 4 car packs all together. The 90 going to lock up. That's Joshua Parent. Oh, he's going to somehow save it, and the 46 of Matthew Shelby is going to go on through. So Shelby is trying to recover after that spin earlier in stage 1, recovering pretty nicely, almost into the top 20. We got Wolfsburg. He's down on pit road. I've got to imagine this is for some damage.
It will help him out. He's going to flip the stage, but I think this is 1 lap earlier than he would have wanted to come in. He was out of stage point contention, so not a bad play. And he's down on a way, so it wasn't for damage. This is to flip the stage, I think. Just came in 1 lap early. I think he was kind of trying to make sure he didn't come in too late. But I'm pretty sure he could have come in 1 lap later and been okay.
I believe he could have. And you got to wonder, he settled out about 16th after the spin, but then lost 2 spots after that. So you got to wonder if he had any right front damage from hitting the wall. You never know. But more battles going on here. Stephen Borbell trying to look onto the 71 of Pooler. Right hard on the attack is Kyle Heath.
from the fan cam here, high up in the tower in the carousel. A great view of Pooler, Borbell, and Heath as they battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, and then throw in Johnny Wood for 10th. I do love the fan cam here at COTA. A great look at some fan perspectives around the racetrack. We've been doing this every week since at least Texas, I think. Actually, I think every week this season, and it has definitely been a fan favorite amongst the drivers. There's Johnny Wood Jr. pitting, so he's going to flip the stage. Rogers can wait one more lap because he's leading, but everybody else that wants to flip this stage has got to pit this time by as we watch on from the fan cam here on the front stretch. A great look here at turn number 1. Heath on the inside of Borbell.
Heath been looking at him for the past 2 laps or so. Borbell going to swing to the inside, try to set up here for turn 2. As all the while, we've got a great battle up towards the front again. And look who is hot on the heels of Sutherland. It's the 23 of Maddox. And right there, both behind them, in front of them, it is Osmer. These 3 cars, the battle between them, always interesting to have them 3 on track. Here goes Maddox down into turn number 10. He's going to make the move. Sutherland going to try the crossover. He looks back, peeks to the inside into 11. They're going to stay side by side. Now Maddox looking to cross him up. There's contact.
Yeah, there was the contact from Brennan trying to undercut, if you will, and cross over that 24. It didn't work there. A lot of pit stops that last time, and Gavin Rogers is expected here on pit lane. Will he pit? The answer is yes. Will Houseman follow? The answer is yes. So these 2 will come in here and close the pit lane. Yeager will stay out, so Dylan Yeager is going to go for a 2nd stage win this evening. I can't blame him. A bunch of points at hand once again. This is going to set him up nicely for the rest of this regular season.
Yeah, it really is, and I think we've seen him competing up front so much that something is going to work out for him. When you consistently stay at the front like that, you're going to get a win, whether you fall into it or you're able to get to it on your own. Yeager has really put himself in position, and I think you said it, Andrew. Points are going to be so important, and especially at this point in the season, you never know. Yeager could have 3 DNFs, but with these stage wins and maybe a few others in the next few races, he'd be safe if something were to go wrong in later races in the regular season.
There's Rogers, there's Houseman. Houseman misgauging pit exit by a bunch. Goes wide in turn 1. These 2 exit the pit lane and rejoin in 13th and 14th spots respectively. Rogers ahead of Houseman. They could still work up to the top 10 here in these last few moments, but it will take a lot as Dylan Yeager looks to come around and put a close here to stage 2 in just a couple more laps. Cars that pitted here to flip the stage, of course, those 2, Rogers and Houseman, but also Johnny Wood Jr. here in the 75 car. Granted, he's down in 22nd spot, and Buzzio has just left the pit lane. I think he's going to be thrown to the rear. I think he pitted too late. Well, maybe not. Because it would be
stage 2 at 30, right?
So actually, I think he's safe by 1 lap.
Might be safe by 1 lap. So yeah, if you pitted within 29, I think you would be thrown to the rear for entering the closed pits. There we go.
There you go.
Finding my words. But Buzzio, he seems is going to be safe. We're going to have to make sure and check on that one. We'll make sure to watch once we get the stage break. Zachary Maddox here in 34th. Hasn't been having the greatest day. He's been involved in a couple of incidents trying to break into the top 30.
Well, he also pitted. Scott Fritz a little wide here at turn 10. It looks like he also, actually he did not pit, but Renner did, who passes him. Renner pitted to flip the stage. Wolsifer pitted to flip the stage, as we documented. Johnny Wood, Richard Wolsifer, Nick Renner, Adam Buzzio, they all pitted to flip the stage, as did Zachary Maddox. Everybody else, it seems, will stay on the racetrack, and there's even a couple of drivers that haven't pitted yet at all this evening, are still on their original set of tires and fuel, those being Cody Dorsey and Dakota Bly, who make up the rear portion of the field, 32nd and 33rd, just ahead of Zach Maddox, Braden Van Wingeren, Cameron Carden, and Robert Moyer, who continue on. Hernandez, Stockero, and Camper are the 3 cars out of this 40-car race. Up front, we'll be coming around to the white flag here in stage number 2 in just a moment. Dylan Yeager while he didn't lead all these laps to get here, he was second fiddle to Gavin Rogers. He is following in those same motions and will come around here to begin this final lap of Stage 2 in the lead, just like Stage 1.
One more round. He has been so consistent. We haven't seen any big mistakes from him. He's been so good throughout the entire portion of these first two stages. And I've got to imagine running behind guys like Mason Houseman and the 17 of Rogers, he had to be learning. He had to be able to see stuff from them when he was near them that he had to be able to learn and keep up with them. Really great job from the rookie.
All the while, this is the battle for the back end of stage number 2 as far as stage points go. Rogers and Houseman are closing. These guys' points could be in jeopardy. This is Christian Barnes, Coulter Clark on the move on the inside of Barnes. And Clark gonna take, no, he won't take that spot yet. Brandvold gets loose, he's 11th. He's the first car out of stage points. Barnes and Coulter are the last two in. You see the battle in the foreground as well. Hughes, Pooler, and Bordall, some veterans going at it. Here they are through the cut through now on lap number 30. The final lap here of stage number 2. This has been a fantastic race.
I think it has as well. We've seen action all over the track. Cars not able to get away from each other. That's one thing you get when you get a big field like this. Rogers, he might get stage points after pitting.
I think he will. He's going to pass up Zachary Brandvold here on the outside of turn number 11, I think. They're too wide ahead, those being Coulter Clark and Christian Barnes, so you see the little bit of contact there from 54 to 27. Rogers on the apex there, going for a 10th spot on Barnes. And there's the caution for Yeager hitting the line. Did Rogers get there? I don't know. I think he might have.
It looks like right on the chart, it's currently scoring him as in 10th, but at
Wow.
the moment of caution, he might have been behind. But if we go off timing and scoring, Gavin Rogers would have gotten him.
A much quieter run to the stage end this time, much less drama in the S's, I will say. That's a good thing, I think. A much quieter end of the stage there is probably a good thing as these guys move on here in this season. You can't really mask the fact that they have had, I've called it in the past, an accelerated number of cautions. A lot of cautions the last couple of races. So this road course, a really welcome break, I think, for these guys from the oval racing. To get on a road course, stretch these guys out, still let them have their battles as we've seen, but give them a chance to kind of relax after these opening couple of races. There are a couple of policies now in effect for this league. I mentioned earlier, coming to the restart zone, that leader Gavin Rogers could not fire in that restart zone. He has to wait on the iRacing given green flag. That will be the case going forward for the foreseeable future, for an undetermined amount of time, if you will. So that's something of note. Also, a probation period is going in effect pretty much for all drivers, but basically there will be certain drivers that are placed on probation if they have 4 incidents within 4 races, and it's done in 4 race blocks. So after this week, there will be certain drivers placed on probation that have caused 4 incidents within the opening 4 rounds of the season. And essentially, you've heard me call out before, and Zach Murtis call out before, race control is sending a driver to pit lane with a drive-through because they caused a crash, they caused an incident. Well, if they're on probation and they cause 1 incident, that's an immediate park instead of 2 incidents being allowed. So it's going to be very strict for some of these drivers moving forward, and everybody being put on notice, I think, by these new league regulations moving forward here in Season 4. And the hope is that they're temporary. The hope is that this calms some things down on the ovals and they can get back to normal racing without these extra regulations at play. But it is worth mentioning, especially as what is planned for the rest of the summer here is that I go to Summer Shootout along with Zach Murtis. He'll be in the car, I'll be on the broadcast, and we'll have some interim commentators and producers for the stretch of summer here on Pit Stop TV with the BRB Racing League. So wanted to get that out now, mention it while we can, as we don't have to review an incident right away here. That's always appreciated as everybody comes down the pit lane, and there's 2 Barneys waving the flag there on the front stretch.
2 Barneys waving the flag, but a lot of cars, more than 2, up in the pit lane. Who can perform the best? A lot of pit stops being made here today. So who can perform the best? Dylan Yeager pulling into the box. He's in at box number 2. See who can make the best. It's all about getting in. Yeager had to clean in. A lot of people had to clean in. Not seeing anyone swing wide in their box. So great job from all these drivers. Who's going to have the fastest pit stop? You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've learned that the closer you get to the center of the box, the faster your pit stop time is. Dylan Yeager gets out first. He gets to the center of the box as best he can.
By the way, through all of this craziness, I'm reviewing the tape, and I do believe Ronnie Osmer came home second here in stage number 2, so that's who we're going to have the pleasure of dialing up under this caution. Ronnie Osmer, who's already got a win this season from Texas Motor Speedway. We come back to Texas here this evening, but in Austin, Texas, as opposed to Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm still reviewing the tape, and yeah, sure enough, Ronnie Osmer will go second in stage 2. And what we do when we've already talked to the stage 2 winner, because they won stage 1, somebody sweeps the stages, we talk to second place. So we'll bring in second place Ronnie Osmer once I can find him here in my listing of drivers. I'm looking, there he is. Talking with Andrew Rattel this evening, his teammate. So we'll bring in Ronnie Osmer. Already won a race. He's won some stages earlier in the season, but tonight, second place in stage number 2. We'll be talking to driver 15. And Ronnie, you already won in the great state of Texas. We come back down here, but to a road course this evening. The car seems like it's got some speed, but maybe needing a little more for stage 3. What can you do?
Hope Gavin and the 78 wreck each other out of the race. That's about the only chance I got.
Hey, I appreciate the candor there, because I think that is probably a fair take. But is there anything you can do maybe to get this 42 car possibly?
Hopefully cleared slower cars faster. After I got past Isaiah, we were running similar lap time, so hopefully just clear the slower cars just faster than him, and just stay on his bumper and hope for a mistake. I still got good speed out of the Celsius Chevy, going from 36th to 9th in that first stage, so hopefully we can just keep going forward.
Yeah, I see you started 36th this evening, got some stage points in that first stage, just like these guys that did the pit lane to the front challenge. You kind of did the same here. And on the way through stage 1, there was a lot of drama. Stage 2, even more. What's the driver chat been like? Because there's a couple of guys right behind you that have already not liked each other. They had a run-in. What's the driver chat like? How much do you pay attention to that? What is it like as a driver on the racetrack tonight?
As much chaos as there was in stage 2, they were actually calmer over the radio than stage 1. So hopefully they stay that way.
Well, Ronnie, it's good to check in with you here after stage number 2. Congratulations on going second and being the one that we're talking to here after the stage, and best of luck as we move forward here in stage 3.
Thank you.
That's Ronnie Osmer, already got a win this season. You see him choose there on the front straightaway. Everybody choosing their lane, and wouldn't you know it, Maddox and Sutherland will be alongside each other. I love a good little rivalry.
I really do, and it's great. These two, I think the 23 of Maddox has done really well about not getting over aggressive. It's so easy for drivers to get in over their heads, get really frustrated, and do something dumb. There's no better way to say it, but Brendan Maddox has done a great job to stay calm, keep his helmet on, keep his emotions in check. It might pay off for him. Gavin Rogers split the stage again. He pitted early so he can be out front. He got away last time, but can anyone go up and try to challenge him? Because if Gavin Rogers gets away again, I've got to say and think that he's going to be away for the win.
And I believe everybody is due to pit at least once here in stage number 3. Watch out for that. Might take some fuel saving possibly to go without pitting. We'll see what these drivers can or cannot do here in these final 30 or so laps. While we have a moment, let's take a look at the schedule this season, something we've not done just yet. Daytona, Texas, Iowa, Michigan to get the season started. Austin here this evening. Next week is a 1-week points break for these drivers, but they're all-star racing. Every driver is invited. It's an exhibition race for these guys. It will not be here on Pit Stop TV. Next week also begins Cookout Summer Shootout for Zach Murtis and I, and that's where alternate coverage will begin. So things will be a little bit different over the summer from Bristol through St. Louis. Then we're back at Rockingham and Miami with proper, regular coverage the rest of the way through the season. Still putting pieces in place for that summer stretch. It'll be interesting, kind of like an Amazon Prime or TNT kind of thing, where things are just a little bit different over the summer. Then we come back to you with traditional pieces in place. Maybe even Scott for some of those races. We'll see what happens later on in the season. Also want to give a big thank you here to all of our partners with the league. The Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Idealese, Sundance Pizza, Performance Food Group, and of course, Maddox Graphics here this evening for the Castle Smart Alarm 250. We work back around here under caution, and we'll take the green flag in just a couple of moments. Up front, 6 cars that pitted in Stage 2 and then stayed out at the break. Those are Gavin Rogers, Johnny Wood Jr., Mason Houseman, Richard Wolsifer, Nicholas Renner, Adam Buzzio, and I think that might be it, actually. I think that's all 6. So they will all stay out at the front of the field, line up as they chose, and come back around, this time to the restart zone. Again, Rogers has to fire at the end of the zone when the iRacing green flag comes out. Waiting on the green flag here. And we're back racing in the Castle Smart Alarm 250. Here we go to turn 1. Big blocks. Rogers plays it safe. Houseman around the outside. Renner up on 2 wheels. One around. That's Kyle Heath in the 13.
Kyle Heath around in the 13. Carl Poole are going to get into the 14 as well. So a lot of drivers going around.
Wolsifer and Osmer were side by side. They figure it out. Now Buzzio ahead of Yeager. Here we go from the drone camera through turn number 6 and into that shortcut. Up front, it's Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman. They've got to run 30 laps here to the end for the win.
I don't think you can wait, though. I don't think you can ride as the 78 almost going to tag, and he's going to go sideways. The 2 leaders collide in turn 10. Can the 75 pull through? Yes, Johnny Wood Jr. going to try to make it 3 wide for the lead, but Rogers going to take back the inside as he gave the 78 of Houseman a bump.
Houseman falls back now. Wolfsford to the back end of his Limitless Esports teammate and Johnny Wood Jr. Dylan Yeager was very open. Ronnie Osmer was very open. They kind of each want the 78 and 17 to wreck, so they have a chance at the win, and we nearly had that there in turn 10. They made heavy contact. I'm surprised they're both rolling still. And Osmer to the inside of Wolsifer. A big block there from Wolsifer, but Osmer goes right on through.
Osmer looking to stay consistent, stay calm here in this long stage. Stage number 3, the final stage. It'll be 30 laps remaining this time around. So a little bit less than halfway through the race. And somehow, through all that contact, Rogers and Houseman hold the lead. But that was a deep save for the 48. Oh man, trouble for Matthew Shelby.
Yeah, Selby around there at turn 17. He'll get back going as you see the back end of the field come around. He will rejoin right behind Cameron Carden, who sits 1 lap down, but is the first car 1 lap down. Should we get a track blocking incident, Cameron Carden would be in position to get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. 1 car slow. It's Jason Bottoms. He gets back rolling on the outside of turn number 2. And here we go. Once again, our 2 leaders going back at it.
Oh man, Houseman swinging all the way out wide. This is what he did last time. He peeked to the inside. He's going to do it again. There we go. Great move in the city of Houseman. Rogers looked like he kind of let him on by there.
And problems. Joshua Parent has gone around in the Lucky Performance number 90. A new sponsor on board that 90 car today. Was excited about the potential he had, but also a rookie to the racetrack and goes right around there in the S's and brings it to a stop on the exit of the S's and will pull from the race. Unfortunate for the Lucky Performance number 90. One more look at it.
Oh, it's a decent hit to the left rear.
And he decided he had enough. Now, Houseman got by Rogers, but it sure looked like Rogers pulled over. I wonder if Gavin is kind of letting him go right now, letting him work his stuff off to get him later in the run, potentially with a pit stop in there. We're still kind of not clear on whether or not these guys have enough fuel to go to the end, and Houseman is definitely chomping at the bit. You see him get way loose on the exit of turn 1. It's mistakes like that that'll bring Rogers back.
Exactly, and that's probably why Rogers imagined to go and let him by, try to let him use his stuff up. But Houseman, he's got a lot, he knows what's going on. So I don't know, you have those little mistakes that we just saw, but he's definitely got to clean those up. But as a two-time champion, you've got to think, I wouldn't want a two-time champion to be out leading the race and me falling back on purpose.
Getting updates now from the Whiplash Racing chat as far as Joshua Parent and now Matthew Corder both out of the race. Parent's screen actually went black, and he says it wouldn't turn back on, so he of course had to pull from the event then. And then Matthew Corder lost connection. So two drivers now out of the race. Corder was putting together a really strong run in the Whiplash SimCams number 4. Was top 15 or so, going after some spots, and I think had a good race going, but the driver out of Louisiana will call it a day there, not of his own choice. There have been a lot of rough issues for a lot of drivers this evening. Camper, Stockero, Hernandez, Corder, all out of the race. Parent now out of the race. Robert Moyer 3 laps down, going to pass that 90 car here in a couple of laps, but as we hit 29 laps to go, kind of reset a little bit, catch our breath for a moment. Haven't really had a chance to do that yet tonight. It's Houseman and Rogers out front, as we expected, but I think maybe in a different order than we expected. And Dylan Yeager, who won the first 2 stages, is buried in 7th.
Yeager really hasn't been able to move. All these cars in front, they were the ones that short pitted. Osmer was the only one that didn't. But all those cars that did short pit have been holding their position for the moment. So Yeager going to have to try to get his work done. He's right on the back of Buzzio. But this is the first time he's been in true traffic all race long.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is the first time he's had to work for spots, and I don't mean that negatively against Yeager. He just hasn't really had to set up passes, and if you haven't had to do it yet, it takes a lot. It is a challenge to set passes up here in one of these next-gen cars. You see him trying there, and he goes deep. He got the pass done, but that's the challenge I'm talking about. It is not easy to set up for these passes here at COTA, especially on this shorter track. You get two less heavy braking zones and passing opportunities, actually, because you lose turns 11 and 12 as passing opportunities. And here we go. Sutherland and Maddox back alongside each other as well.
These two cannot get away from each other. They're really just having a bout. Love being around each other, which I think they really don't love being around each other. I'm glad they are. It gives us some great entertainment, wondering what could possibly happen between the two. But for the first time since they went around at the end of stage 1, Maddox is finally back out front of Sutherland. But how will Sutherland handle this stage? Because again, a lot longer here. We're going to have a pit stop during the stage unless you're on some crazy fuel-saving plan, which I can bet none of these front runners are. But we're going to see that. So how do you use your tires here?
Bit of a battle in the back as one car was slow. Actually pitting is Christian Barnes, so this is a short pit out of the 27. This indicates to me that these guys will indeed have to pit during this stage for fuel. But he's the only car pitting here on this lap. This is lap 37 out of 38. So maybe an indication, maybe not. But let's go back up to that battle with Yeager and now Wolsifer, as the 42 has expressed that, he didn't think he would have a car here to compete, didn't think he would be up front, but was happy to be up front after stages 1 and 2. And now that he's buried behind these guys that stayed out at the end of stage 2, he's really being put to the test. It's no longer just go and lap consistently. You also now have to set up passes.
And you saw him do it great through 7 and 8, but down and out of 9 and into 10, he had that lockup, trying to set it up right now on Wolsifer. And he's called Wolsifer, but I think his passes, he's taken longer to set them up.
Also getting told by race control that these guys are around the pit window, so that makes sense for Barnes, and I really did not think they'd be able to do this full stage on one tank, as there we go, both of those drivers making a mistake at turn 17. Wolsifer off the racetrack, nearly a repeat of what he did before.
I was going to say, I can't believe he tried to do it again after what happened earlier. Now, you're going to take that moment and run through the grass to carry some momentum down into 1. Yeager, and another bit lockup on the left front. Wolsifer going to pull right back through.
kind of jumping around, just following the lights up on timing and scoring. And, you know, this is a rare case where I'm actually sharing my timing and scoring with you here, Scott. So you're seeing what I'm doing. You can see I'm just trying to follow the red and the green. There is so much.
It's really great.
And one car is stopped. It's King in the pit lane. Bottoms is in.
Ooh. A lot of drivers coming in early. A lot of them taking the short pit. I really would have thought we would have seen more drivers go at halfway.
It seems like they. Oh, Renner! Hang on to it. Oh, man. Here comes Wolfsburg on the outside of Renner now. Wolfsburg recovering after a moment there out of turn 9, it seemed. These guys are not done. And there goes Renner around.
You thought it might have been coming there through the carousel, right before the carousel. And so Renner was just pushing for everything he had. We'll take a look back at it. But Renner really was pushing there right inside of the top 10. And, oh, there's the problem for Wolfsburg. That's what happened to him. He'd already lost a good couple of spots. This pushes him right outside of the top 10.
Another look at it here. This is Richard Wolfsburg. Was running just ahead of Dylan Yeager, trying to hang on to that spot, tracked out too far, caught grass, and the car immediately came around on him. We'll come back to live picture between Jared Hughes and Brendan Maddox as they fight to turn 1. Maddox on the inside here on lap 40. Zachary Brandvold hits the pit lane. We'll try to keep you honest on pit stops, and going back to your point that you're surprised more drivers aren't splitting the stage up evenly, I wonder, because we know how these stock car tires are on road courses now. They're super hard. They are bricks. They hardly wear at all. I wonder if some of these drivers did not take tires at the either at stage 1 or at stage 2 or both maybe, and took fuel only, and are now coming in early here in stage 3 to get their tires about midway through the race to have those tires to the end of the race. I don't know if that's the case, but it's a possibility. It's something I'm wondering about. In retrospect, I wish I had paid a little more attention to whether or not these guys took tires in their pit stops, because that would have told us a lot more about what they're doing here in stage 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. You know, if you're going to short pit, you know, if you're taking tires, it doesn't matter. The tires are going to take longer than it would the fuel, even if you're getting pretty much near a full tank. So I've got to imagine that those that were really trying to short pit might have only taken 2. Maybe they took 2 at the caution, and maybe just the other 2 early on right then.
Definitely some options, as it seems like Brandvold has taken fuel only. And here we go. A couple of teammates pitting on this lap. Buzzio and Hughes, both from Next Level Racing, will come in. And, hey, Rev is helping us out. Our race controller is doing some help, as there you see the other Next Level car of Stephen Borbell coming to the pit lane. Of note, Gavin Rogers did not pit. He's actually in battle right now with Mason Houseman. This is for the lead and the win. Contact! There goes Houseman! He backs up right in front of Rogers.
Houseman, another mistake, sends it in just a little bit deep, and that's what you saw. Too wide through the S's, almost never works. Houseman able to turn it back around, and somehow he's still in second, but Ronnie Osmer right on his tail.
And I told you to be ready in case we dialed up a couple of drivers during green flag conditions. He's one of those drivers. We're going to give him a moment just to calm down, and then we're absolutely going to talk to driver 78 if he'll talk to us. I don't know. After that, you never know. But let's see what happened here to driver 78. He was still well ahead of Rogers here into turn 1, but then it seems like he might have missed the corner. He sure did. Missed the corner big time. Here comes Rogers. This is why they were side by side. From the blimp now, overhead view in the S's. Is this like Sutherland and Maddox? Or what happens here? They're side by side. 78 on the inside. He pounded the anti-cut, and Rogers, there's nothing Gavin could have done.
Yeah, no, and Houseman was pushing, tried to carry it. He just, when you're on that outside line, as fast as he was going, trying to rotate the corner, he didn't have enough time to get farther left away from that yellow turtle. You'll see it right here, just pushes out wide, cannot get it quite back over to the other side, and runs right into the 17 of Rogers.
I'm surprised that their 2 incidents tonight have not been larger, as we have more pit stops. Johnny Wood Jr., Gray Walker both come in. By the way, to recap some of those pit stops, Brandvold fuel only, Patinko fuel only, Buzzio foreign fuel, Jared Hughes fuel only, I think we're going to see a lot of fuel only, a lot of mix here. But if you want to be fast, I think it's going to be a fuel only. I think you're definitely going to want to have taken tires earlier in this race to now not have to during this stage. But let's bring the timing tower back up. And let's dial up somebody. This is a risk, but we're going to dial up Mason Houseman here and see if he'll talk to us during this green flag period. He told us we could. He said,
it's right on the back of him right now.
hey, he told me I could do this, so we'll bring in Mason Houseman.
Oh, I know.
Mason, I know you've got to be a little frustrated behind the wheel right now, but will you talk to us for just a moment?
Oh, of course I will. That was also my fault. So.
There you go. So, okay, that answers one of our questions. We were curious about what you thought of that incident there through the S's, but also what happened earlier in this stage when you and Gavin made contact.
That was also my fault.
So some mistakes here going after the 17. Can you get him?
I'm going to try. I'm going to win it for my dog. So I got my spirit behind me, but I don't know. I'm going to try. I'm just got to take a breather. Sweat my bootay off.
Well, it is hot on the racetrack as well. Has that played into this challenge between the two of you?
Oh, it's horrible. I think Gavin right now, I'm not taking anything away from Gavin. Gavin's a super quick driver. He's got a little bit of damage on that car, so I think that's what's keeping him at bay for me right now. I think if he didn't have that damage, he would probably pull away from me, honestly. So he's a super fast driver, and I think that damage he has on his car is holding him back.
So what's the play here? You know between the two of you it's gloves off because neither of you are here for points, but you've got Ozma right behind, it seems, or I guess a couple of seconds back now. So what's the play? How do you approach the rest of this battle between the two of you guys?
Take chances. I was about to say he's a wife and kids at home, but he doesn't. So I was about to do that whole F1 quote, but that's not true. I forgot who I'm racing. I guess me and him are both 20-year-olds, so we don't have wife or kids. We got cool cars though, so that always counts. And we're out here driving, having fun, enjoying our life. Yeah, winding around the right side, trying not to spin the car out. And didn't spin the car out, so I will take that in a record book right there. Sign it down. Mason did not spin.
I don't know how you do this, Mason. I don't know how you can talk and remain so focused. I know that when I'm racing, I don't say a single word because I have to have every inch of focus locked in. As you get a little bit sideways there, I don't know how you do it, man. It's really impressive.
I'm just driving.
I'm going to ask you.
Casual Sunday drive, Andrew.
Yeah.
Well, Sunday drive, that's about 200 degrees in the car, it feels like.
So I got to ask you, Mason, then we'll let you go now. We've been with you for a couple of laps. Of course, we talked about the paint scheme last week in Michigan. You got wrecked out early, but you have this chance here. Much different circumstances. You're still up front. What does this mean to have your dog, Maddie, on the race car with you? You, of course, recently lost her. Hate that, but what does it mean to have her behind you and helping you, I guess from above in this case, powering you to go out here and battle for the win? How much more significant is it for you?
I will say when I did take the lead, I did genuinely start crying a little bit because I got to lead a lap first, but I don't know. I would like to, but I'm not going to take pity on anything. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll still be happy that I was happy and having fun racing. And people want to be around.
Well, Mason, it's good to check in with you here during this green flag run. Best of luck. Maybe you can get Gavin. We'll see.
Yes, thank you, boys.
That's Mason House. We'll move him back up to his teammates over at Maverick Motorsports. They were fantastic a season ago. Mason took the championship, and they were electric as a whole. Dustin now leading the points, following in Mason's footsteps from a season ago. But Mason trying to check in with that Gavin Rogers machine. He has fallen back, and I hate to imagine that we might have affected him a little bit, but he told us we could talk to him, so we talked to him, as he's now 1.3 seconds back of Gavin Rogers.
I just don't know how he does it. I mean, that's the thing. I know that when I'm racing, and Houseman is definitely a better driver than me, but I like to think I'm decent. But when I'm going, I mean, I can't say a word or else I will lose lap time. I'll lose like 3/10 or something.
We've got a few holdouts that have not yet hit the pit lane. Gavin Rogers, Mason Houseman, Ronnie Osmer, Dylan Yeager, Brendan Maddox, Isaiah Sutherland, Gray Walker, Andrew Rattel, the top 8 of those holdouts. Also, Coulter Clark has not yet pitted, neither has Sam Dyer or Dakota Bly or Cody Dorsey. Otherwise, everybody has taken their stage 3 pit stop as Dorsey will spin around and go a lap down here on lap 45. There's one other driver, while we have this green flag run, that wanted to talk to us during a green flag period. We're going to dial him up. He's a special character here in the BRB Racing League. Let's see, I'm going to search through the voice channels and try to find him quickly. His teammate, by the way, in the top 10 in the standings, Christian Barnes, having a great rookie season, but we're going to pull Zachary King away from his driver duties for just a second while you're green. Zach, you told us we could talk to you, so we're going to talk to you here. How's the race car?
Damn road courses, they suck.
Definitely.
In all reality, it's pretty good. It's just I'm a little tight, and I've been hippity hoppity over these bumps, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely a challenging course this evening, challenging conditions as well. How much has the temperature played into this for you guys? Clear skies, Austin, Texas sun beaten down, over 105-degree track temp. It was 120 at one point. It's calmed down a little bit. How difficult has that made it?
I don't know. I'm feeling it through the sim because I'm sweating. I'm sweating all over the place right here now, and you know, it's hot. The track is very slick. It was slick from the start. It's just starting to come back in. I just changed the brake bias, moved it around a little bit, try to find a little bit more grip and a little bit unsteady of the car. So it's just a long race, very hot. You know, it's just long race, not fun.
And it looks like you pitted about 6 laps ago, so you've made your stage 3 stop. Did you take tires? How many did you take? Because it seems like everybody's on some kind of different strategy, in just a little bit of a different way.
So I don't know if you guys caught it, but I missed my initial pit cycle because I wanted to stop like right when the window opens, about 29, 30 laps on fuel. So I pitted with about trying to pit with 29 to go, completely missed pit entry, and it was pretty scary. Almost nailed the wall, lost a couple positions. But yeah, when we came back down, it was the plan was just literally just a little bit of gas. I think I did maybe 3 gallons of gas and no tires. Just get on and off pit road as fast as possible.
Well, it looks like you've got some competition right behind you here, a lineup of Buttkicker, Maddox, and Jensen, so we'll let you get back to your business here, but best of luck as this race goes on. Decent run so far, getting that top 20 for us.
I'll try my best. I'll do what I can do.
Zachary King this evening, teammate to Christian Barnes, who's in that top 10 of the standings. We'll move him back up. Zachary looking for a good run here this evening, needs those points as Dylan Yeager has just come down the pit lane. So a strategy move here for the 42 car. He comes in for service. And let's see, what's it going to be for the 42? Does he take any tires? Maddox is also
maybe
in.
He can jump some of... Oh yeah, maybe he can jump some of these competitors in front of him because, as we have seen, it's just been very difficult for him to go out there and make those passes. He's been able to get to drivers, but like you said earlier, Andrew, it's been hard for him to set up and make those passes, taking them a little bit longer than a lot of other drivers that we get to watch. Brendan Maddox in here as well in his number 23, and it looks like everybody up towards the front of this pack has also been planning on doing fuel only.
Here we go. A race again between the 17 and 78. Rogers has allowed the 78 to catch back up. Houseman got to him there in turn 10. You saw the pit stops, though, for Yeager and for Maddox, each taking a couple of seconds of fuel only and getting back on the racetrack. That has been the MO of everybody in the field so far. Yeager has been released back onto the racetrack ahead of Johnny Wood Jr., so that kind of gives you a little bit of a respect of where he is in this field once these guys cycle back out. But when do these top 6 pit? Rogers, Houseman, Osmer, Sutherland, Walker, and Rattel all still have to pit? Or, well, here comes Rogers. He's coming in for sure. Or can these guys save enough fuel to go to the end? We know Houseman hasn't been saving. But can one of these other drivers, Walker, Rattel maybe, can they save enough fuel to go to the end without having to pit?
Yeah, I think if you were going to short pit, take fuel only, you should have gone by now. I mean, every lap you go, the longer you're going to have to stay in the pits to get enough fuel to get to the end. So these leaders are going to have to wait a little bit longer. Sutherland is in this time, so that's only going to leave 4 drivers out there up front that haven't pitted. I'm sure we have a good few other drivers past the top 6 that have yet to pit, but of the top 6 and of the leaders, now only 4 have remained out. Rogers will join back. He'll be in 3rd out on the track, so only Osmer and Houseman are up in front of him.
Here goes Sutherland. Where does he merge as Brendan Maddox, I think, has just come back in?
Could be a speeding penalty.
It could be, because he was just on the pit lane. He already pitted. I feel very certain about this. Here he comes into his box. Or did he not take enough fuel? Oh, he's taking tires.
He's taking tires. If you serve the penalty, you'll serve it after, so he might have forgotten to uncheck his tires. But let's see if he goes here. If he stays, it's going to be a penalty.
Oh my, no, maybe not.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he felt that. Oh, that's weird.
That's very weird. He was just on the pit lane. We saw it.
Yep.
Him and Yeager pitted together. So I don't know why he came back in for tires. The only thing I can imagine is maybe he got back on the racetrack, saw how damaged the tires were, and was fearful of a flat.
I'm thinking.
These cold tires are getting him.
He's on cold tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think, the only reason...
He dropped 20th.
The only reason I can think he would have pitted, as he's coming to a stop now. What's going on?
He's having some trouble of some sort. He might... I've got to think right there he might have had a little bit of a connection issue. He's really slowed down the backstretch here.
Ronnie Osmer into pit. On board with Brendan Maddox. A very strange situation developing for the 23 car. I'm not sure why he pitted to begin with, nor why he took tires, as Andrew Rattel also pits here. And then he came to a full stop there in that little chicane cut through. He's back rolling now, but this is a very strange situation right now for Brendan Maddox. I'm very confused.
I'm confused, but also very curious. It's just what the answer is. I don't know if we'll be able to get it. That was a really weird exchange, circumstance of events. But it's still the same out front. I think Hausman has yet to pit. So he stayed out. Osmer has come into pit. So I think Hausman, of your front leaders, has the only one that has yet to pit.
He and Gray Walker both still need to pit here. Walker has not yet come in for service. Rattel, it seems, has been caught speeding on the pit lane. You can see there, up over 50 seconds in the box. That's usually indicative of a pit penalty. Let's see if he releases here in a second, or what happens. Not yet.
He might be fixing some damage as well from earlier, while maybe possibly also serving a penalty.
He was in the top 10.
From earlier incidents.
He was in the top 10 before pitting, and now has gone a lap down. There he goes, finally releasing from the box. Another very strange situation here. Let's go back and see. He made it in okay. I thought maybe he pounded the wall or something coming in, but he made it in okay. This is his trip down the pit lane.
Damage.
There again is how long the stop took. It took a full lap, basically, in the pit lane as a whole. 97 seconds is just shy of a full lap time here.
Everything looks normal, so maybe he came in earlier, got a speeding penalty, or maybe he was just sitting there fixing some internal damage. Not sure.
Well, he falls to 28th as a result, and right behind him you see Gray Walker, who has not yet pitted, but has Johnny Wood Jr. right behind. Could Walker be on a fuel-saving strategy here? I feel like if you are still on the racetrack inside of 15 to go, knowing you have to pit for fuel, you might be on that alternate strategy. But Houseman's still on the racetrack too, so anything could happen.
Well, and Gray Walker has got to be careful here. You want to make sure that whatever you do not run out of fuel on track. He's currently 11th in the points, so just one spot to the good. So Walker definitely needs to make sure he has at least retains points. He does not need to run out of fuel and have to tow back to the pit lane.
A very strange race unfolding before our eyes. 15 laps to go. Gavin Rogers chasing down Mason Houseman, who has finally boxed in. And for Houseman, Oh my goodness, this might not. I think he might have knocked the wall down coming in. That right front looks, yeah, that right front has been smoked. Here's the onboard. Here he is coming into pit. Looks like the steering is okay here. I think he cooked it coming in.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Oh man. That is frustrating as a driver.
I was even very sure to say in the league Discord earlier today, make sure you practice your pit entry because you don't want to be on the replay as the guy who smokes that pit wall. Go back to the No Limit Racing Simrat Market Series. Do you recall Vicente Salas smoking that pit wall when he came in for his pit stop?
Yes, I do, but the only difference was it was early in the race. He was able to recover. It was too late for Hausman.
And Vicente, while he got it, he didn't hit it nearly as hard and did not hit in the same spot. You see this live picture. That car has got a ton of damage. That's going to be it for Mason today. He's going to be done, unfortunately.
And that's such a shame. He was talking about, getting to run with his dog on the side that had recently passed away, and how cool it was to go out and lead. And he definitely did have a chance at battling for the win with Gavin Rogers, but sadly it's going to end at just a few laps short.
Gavin Rogers will now lead here. Everybody has pitted other than Gray Walker and actually Coulter Clark. And those two are teammates over at Accelerate Racing, which tells me there might be some validity to the idea that they're on an alternate strategy. Walker is in 4th. There is the 18 car. Clark rather, is in 12th. He's actually racing with Nick Renner right now and actually just went by the 22 car, it seems. So these two could very well be on an alternate strategy that nobody else was really planning for. For Walker, it could be a career day for him. For Clark, he's just a little deeper in the field, as low as 29th, and has been kind of back there all day long, struggling with his 54 car. This could still be a better day for him as a result of it. If they have enough fuel to go to the end, Scott, this could be huge for these two drivers.
It really could be big for the both of them. Again, we'll have to continue watching as that story develops, as we continue to get into the waning laps of this race. We've got just under 15 remaining.
And Patinko has just gone around, I think, at the end of the lap. He'll get back going. He caught my eye because I was already looking at the back end of the top 20 here on timing and scoring. Zach Maddox, if you recall earlier, he was spinning around, going a lap down earlier in this race. He has recovered up into 20
at one point.
Yeah, he's recovered all the way to 20th position. He hasn't run every race this season, I don't think, but he has had some terrible luck the last couple of seasons. This is a... Whoa, hello, hang on. This is a building day for Zach Maddox as he goes side by side through the cut through with Zachary King, and oh no! Oh my gosh.
Andrew, what did you do?
I know.
I'm kidding it. Man, we were just saying it right as he was coming through turns 7, 8, and 9. How great he had recovered from 34th and earlier in this race, but mistakes have plagued the 14 throughout this day.
Still a decent drive up from 34th spot, battling here for 21st with Patinko. A shot to the door there with Patinko. These two are going at it now. But still a decent day, all things considered, to come back from 34th spot and facing being a lap down to try and hang on here is Scott Fritz is right behind them now. Sam Dyer goes by the 14. This is a big battle for these guys. A lot of points at stake for these drivers, some of them trying to work their way into playoff contention. Chase contention. And Dyer will go back to the inside of Maddox. And you know, we altered the points graphic a little bit here today to show the gap around the chase cutoff, because previously the last few weeks we've just shown the total points for the leader and then the points back from the leader for everybody else. Today we have changed things up and already switched over to this kind of chase format for the point standings, where we're showing the gap to or from the chase cutoff. And so drivers that are kind of safe right now would really only be the top 5 maybe. Stallings, Osmer, Wolfsburg, Jaeger, and Heath. They've had decent days. They've got some stage points in their pockets. Stallings runs 8th. Osmer runs 2nd. Wolfsburg runs 14th. He's fallen down the order a little bit. Jaeger runs 3rd. Heath has fallen down the order to 15th. But they still have some points to their name. Even Johnny Wood. The rest of these guys all need to keep building on their season. Christian Barnes, Isaiah Sutherland, Matthew Selby, Zachary Brandvold, Gray Walker, Carl Poor. Those guys, they might be in right now coming into today, but they really need a lot of points to build. And then you see everybody on the right side that needs points to get in. Keep these names in mind. Coulter Clark is one of them that might be pulling that alternate strategy as Jaeger has just got around in the background behind the graphic. This is huge. He had just caught up to Ronnie Osmer for the battle for 2nd. And Jaeger goes around. He swept the stages, Scott. This is big.
Yeah, that was big. It was the first big mistake we've seen from Jaeger all day long. Just thought about taking a look to the inside, and it makes contact with Osmer. Great job to spin it around real quick here. Probably lost as least time as you could getting it spun around quick and back going.
One more look at it here for the 42 car. Made that dive. Has led 19 laps of this race. A healthy portion.
You saw it right as he was transitioning off of the curb. He was on the brakes and locked up the rears in that transition of the curb.
So problems there for car 42. But let's bring that points graphic back up. That now alters Jaeger's day ever so slightly, but he's still up front. He's still 3rd. Camper, he pulled out of this race early. Sam Dyer, we just saw him in that battle with Zach Maddox. Dyer is now a 23rd spot. Buzzio stayed out of the stage. He is now 9th. Clark is on that ultimate strategy. Cardin's had a bad day. Robert Moyer Jr. has had a bad day. So there's going to be some motion here on the right side and on the left side, I think, as well. There's going to be a lot of motion between here and Bristol, and then we're going to Bristol next. Nobody is safe at Bristol. I don't care how many points you've got. It can completely change your season, put it on its head. So keep some of these names in mind as we move forward, and it looks like Zach King might have an issue. Whoa! Look at this behind the points graphic. Let's bring that back down. Chaos right here, battling to be the first car on the 1 lap down. Contact there. Maddox goes for a spin.
Yep, Maddox goes for another spin, gets into Patinko, and that's something that we've seen. Another mistake from the 14. You don't need this, and he's gone another lap down.
Going to use the blimp to show this. Gavin Rogers snaking through the lap traffic. So King, Patinko, Maddox, Dyer, Fritz, right behind the race leader. King actually got into the race leader. A big Zachary King moment. They were 4 wide for a second. Rogers trying to fight back through. Maddox door checked at 35. King dove on Maddox, and then, wow! Patinko kind of comes back on.
Oh,
wow!
Maddox didn't even turn left there. He left a lot of space. I imagine Patinko thought he was going to turn in more to the center of the corner. That was a lot, especially all right. The leader had to go through it. Kevin Rogers had to go through this, and then it almost bulldozed over him.
Yeah, here's the view for Zachary King. Just late to the brakes. Boom. Shoves the 17 out of the way for a moment. That could have been much larger. And then watch this with Zach Maddox. He shoves the 35 off. King dives. Oh my gosh. That was a Zach King moment of all time for sure. And then watch Patinko. He comes back on. I think Maddox was trying to leave room for those guys that had already cleared him. And then Patinko didn't realize that. And now more is happening. Zachary Maddox, Zach King right in the cut through. A driver that was having a promising day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's get one more replay. And then
worse, Andrew.
Yeah, we'll try to come back to live picture after we show you what just happened between these two. So watch the 14 and the 51. A couple of Zacharys on the racetrack. King and Maddox alike. Oh, my goodness. King annihilating those anti-cuts.
That was a great move there from the 14 to get on the inside for just a moment. 51 of King goes wide. It looks like he cuts back in front of the 14. I don't think Maddox could have done anything about that.
No, that was a really good look at it, honestly. There's nothing that Zach Maddox could have done there. He was trying to go by Zachary King, and King just came back on the racetrack there. And oh, no! Patinko and King going at it here. A door check from Buttkicker to King as leaders try to go by. There's Johnny Wood Jr. and Gray Walker getting held up.
Them two getting held up. They've gotten close to the 42 of Jaeger, so they did not need this holdup. They need to go ahead and get on through so they can maybe have a chance to finish on the podium. Walker, what a day he is having. He's able to get through it now. He could battle for third here with the 42 of Jaeger. He's still got time.
Craziness unfolding as this race works into its later stages. There is still so much going on the racetrack. Let's follow Gray Walker here for just a moment. You mentioned they have caught Dylan Jaeger. I think Jaeger kind of backing things down, realizing he's made a couple mistakes, trying to get this race back underneath him. Walker trying to catch up. He would like to podium for the first time in his career. And Johnny Wood right behind there as well, trying to amass all those points and get to the top of the series. He has said already this season he feels like he can battle and win this championship. He's trying to show it here tonight.
Has had a great night here in round number 5 of this season for the BRB Racing League. And they've done a great job here. Gray Walker right on the back of Jaeger. It's just, you said it, a career night. And if the question is, can he bring it to the end? We know that he stayed out. Has he been saving enough fuel to finish?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, and right, yep, and he doesn't.
So this is the alternate side of the strategy. All those guys that pitted early, of course, they figured, surely we're not going to have a caution. We're running this thing green to the end, and they've got to play it as such. I wonder if Walker and Clark, who have not yet pitted, and now you see Walker come in, I wonder if maybe they were holding out hope that maybe we'd get a track blocker and prompt a yellow, but that's just so unlikely in these circumstances. We've seen it once before. That was at the Roval back in Season 2, and we haven't had a single road course caution for cause since.
Yeah, you're going to, at the Roval, you've got the close balls down in 1 and 2. You're going to have that tight area where you really could get that. But here at Circuit of the Americas, there's so much room to run off, so much room to get around. As Wolsifer here battling back with Kyle Heath. This is for 14th position. They're side by side in turn 2. Wolsifer going to move on through on Heath. He's trying to break into the top 10 late into this run, and he could because Coulter Clark still has to pit, and he might have some time.
Christian Barnes going to go to work here on Brendan Maddox. This is for 17th spot. Maddox actually might have just passed Barnes. Yeah, Maddox is pulling away. He's got those fresher tires. He pitted that second time and really unraveled his race, and I still wonder what went on there as Adam Buzzio might be blinking out. He's just gone black on my timing screen. He comes back now. Something to keep in mind, that 5 car could be on his way out of here as we want to bring up a driver that has kind of quietly worked his way into the top 10, Zachary Brandvold. We're being told in the YouTube chat, Scott, that this is his birthday. So, I've mentioned we need to get a bot here to get a hold of all the birthdays in the league so we can properly wish everybody their birthday. We've had Dakota Bly recently celebrate a birthday. Well, happy birthday here tonight to Zachary Brandvold on his way to a top 10.
Top 10 would be a special birthday present. He started all the way back in 41st, your last car, shotgun on the field. I don't think he's going to be able to pull a Chastain here this evening, but he has really gone quietly into the night here, breaking into the top 10. That's really, really impressive to be able to work from the back all the way up towards the top 10, especially in a competitive field like this at the BRB Cup Series.
Absolutely, and he's not the only one to do it. Go back to Ronnie Osmer. He mentioned he came from 36th on the starting grid, and while there were some drivers that started from the pit lane, that's still significant. That's outside of the top 30, even so. Even with some of those drivers starting from the pits, that's 30th place or worse on the grid for Osmer when they took the green flag, and he's up here. He's led a lap. He's second. We mentioned it would be the race behind Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman. With Houseman out of the race, it's really just the race behind Rogers, and so far Osmer's winning that.
Well, and with where Stallings is right now and Osmer is, this could move with Osmer to the points lead.
Yeah, and Ronnie got a bunch of stage points, at least in stage 2. I think even a few in stage 1. I think probably more than Dustin got. So this very well could reverse the points lead once again this season between Osmer and Stallings. You're right. Now, they do have a drop week in there, which could change things up as well, but I think that math still checks out.
So Osmer looking to round this out. Still 6 more laps remaining for him. But really, it's Gavin Rogers out front, absolutely dominating the second portion of this race. He's trying to go quietly into the night, 13 seconds ahead of Osmer, as the 54 Coulter Clark now comes in, hits from just outside of the top 10. We thought he might have to come in.
And this was the final piece to the puzzle as far as pit stops and where everybody will cycle out. So this means we can take our nominations for the NARL Driver of the Day vote. There's a couple of obvious choices. I think one of them is currently leading, the other is in the garage, but I'm still going to give you the floor here, and I'll be surprised no matter what. I'll pretend to be surprised even if you pick Gavin Rogers.
Okay, well, I'm not going to pick Gavin Rogers first. I think I'm going to pick the driver, one of the drivers we just talked about, Brandvold. Brandvold, great, excellent job. It's not easy to go start all the way in the back and get it towards the front. Of course, we saw Gavin Rogers do it, and guys like Ronnie Osmer, but they're really in a class of their own. Brandvold, an excellent driver, but you wouldn't expect someone like the besides the quote-unquote the greats to be able to make such a run that Brandvold has had here today. He's my guy.
Do you want to make a pact maybe that as we see some position changes here between Pooler and Maddox, do you want to make a pact maybe that even though Rogers and Houseman have dominated this race, they are the two fastest on the racetrack for sure. Do you want to get a pact that we can't pick them? Because we can deal with that. I think they'll understand. I think this is one where we can do that, and they'll understand why. Because there are some big-time underlying storylines like Zachary Brandvold. So we'll let Brandvold stand. Oh, that completely changes my plan here. In which case, I got to go Ronnie Osmer. I think he and Dylan Yeager are a couple of obvious choices, but Osmer, even though he's only got that one lap led from 36th on the grid, we just talked about it, that was still at least worse than 30th, up to second. He's ahead of Dylan Yeager, and it looks like it'll stay that way. I can't ignore this guy.
No, and I can't ignore Dylan Yeager, because you got to put out of your mind what's going on the rest of the season, which he has done great. But here this evening, he goes out, qualifies third, through the front two, going to the back. He starts on pole, leads every lap of stage one. Then with the 17, getting the short pit in stage two, wins stage two, but he ran second the entire time of that stage. So he is really, and the only mistake was earlier that spin where he got into Osmer. Besides that, he's been flawless.
That's a really solid pick. And one thing I'm going to do here to aid my pick here for my second choice of driver of the day, I'm going to change the ticker over to show positions gained. For Rogers, for Yeager, it's 0. Johnny Wood and Isaiah Sutherland up 3 each. Up 2 for Stallings, down 2 for Hughes, up 3 for Buzzio. Then you see the outliers in the top 10 of 34 and 32 spots gained, respectively, between Osmer and Brandvold. In the top 20, you've also got Wolfsfer up 25, Walker up 9. Some great options. Dyer up 13, Gilmore up 17. I'm making this choice on the fly. I really like, though, what we've seen today from Gray Walker to try to run that strategy, outlast it just in case. For a while, he was holding Johnny Wood Jr. at bay, and he's still knocking on the door of a top 10. I mean, he's 5 seconds back of Vorbel, sure, but if anything happens to that 2 car or anybody else in the top 10, he could absolutely work his way into the top 10. This is somebody that I think is putting together a really nice run. He is coming up on Zachary King, who's got a lot of damage, but I think the 18 car deserves some notice here, and I'm going to give my other nomination to Gray Walker, and I'm going to make that vote go live over on YouTube, so you can vote now in the YouTube chat on who you think deserves Driver of the Day honors now. It's between Zachary Brandvold, Ronnie Osmer, Dylan Yeager, and Gray Walker, as you see that battle once again between the Zacharys get going.
Zachary, he's back at it. It seems like they've been magnets towards each other all stage 3 long. They're trying to get it on here.
Meanwhile, Nick Renner is just trying to get by it all. He might have found a way by it on the outside. Pulls around Patinko, pulls around Maddox. And sure enough, the Georgia native will pass those drivers and continue on in 12th position as he actually hunts down Gray Walker and tries to scoot further away from Richard Wolsever. So that driver of the day vote is live. Some great options. I implore you all to go vote. You will have until the end of our results reading to go ahead and hit that vote and choose your driver of the day. So Zach Maddox, a little squirrely off the final corner. He'll just hang on to it. I want to touch on one more storyline before we focus on the end of this race here. Brendan Maddox. We still don't know what happened in the middle of stage 3 here, but he is 16th working on Carl Pooler.
Yeah, and we still know what happened, but he should have been up within the top 5, most likely in front or around Sutherland, either 5th or 6th, around there. But we won't know what happened, at least for now. Carl Pooler, he was also having a great early run, overcooks it a little bit into turn number 1, but he was having a great run earlier up into the top 10, but I imagine some of that might have been from staying out earlier in the first 2 stages because he has fallen back. It looks like Zachary King having some more issues.
These two can't get away from each other, swapping spots left and right as
damage from it.
Yeah, as Kyle Heath goes off the racetrack and Dakota Bly goes off the racetrack in the background. Oh, man. And King gives a shot there to Maddox. These guys are not done. They're fighting for 24th and 25th on the racetrack, respectively. Boy, what a night it's been at the races this evening. Brandvold is up one more spot. He's in the 9th. As there's a battle here between Jared Hughes and Dustin Stallings. This is the closest fight in the top 10. So we'll take a look at this here before the final lap.
Stallings, I think we would have thought he might have had a little bit of a better day, and that's saying a lot. I mean, he's in 7th, not a bad day at all in a 41-car field. Pretty great day, actually, but when you're leading the points, you've got to have just a little bit more, especially when you've got guys like Ronnie Osmer and Dylan Yeager hot on your heels within the standings.
Yeah, Osmer and Yeager, I think, had put together amazing days. Stallings has still been good. But you got to have those amazing days, I think, every step of the way if you want to win this championship. And, of course, they'll have their points reset. So they just really, in some ways, it is just a race to the chase for these guys. But you still want to put together all the points you can throughout the regular season to position yourself as well as you can for that chase coming up at the end of this summer. But here we go. This time, out of turn number 17, car number 17 will come around and begin the final lap of this Castle Smart Alarm 250. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash SimCam's Gavin Rogers. 2.5 miles to go here at COTA.
2.5 left. He's been near perfect all day, even with damage that he incurred earlier. He held off Mason Hausman, even through the contact between them, back and forth. He has really done a job all day long. He was fastest in practice. He qualified up on the pole, and he's going to try to sweep the day.
Here we go. Hughes and Stallings fighting side by side there. Stallings will fall back behind Hughes now. We've also got a fight for third sparking up. Yeager has been caught by Johnny Wood Jr. A little bit of damage to that 42 car. He has sunk back in this field ever so slightly into third spot. Johnny Wood would like to move up onto the podium here if he can do it. Looks like he might have a chance, and they're right behind Osmer as well. This is going to be a great fight for second to the stripe. Could they be trying to nurse a little bit of extra fuel to the line? Could they be trying to save a little bit here as we come around the final couple of corners? There is Rogers. He's in turn 14 now, so back to the battle for second for just a moment. This is going to be an electric ending, I think. These guys in the final few corners. One car slow, that was Moyer. Everything straightens out for now. Back up to Gavin Rogers. Around turns 16 and 17. Rogers drifting a little bit. Kiwi style. Pulling the Shane Van Gisbergen there around the final couple of corners here at COTA. It's going to be a second win in season number 4 for Gavin Rogers, the part-timer. Back to victory lane in the BRB Racing League.
Who can say they're surprised? Excellent job from Gavin Rogers. The 15 of Ronnie Osmer had a near perfect day after starting from the rear and mistake from qualifying. He'll finish second in a close battle between Yeager and Johnny Wood Jr. Yeager will finish last spot on the podium. Johnny Wood Jr. has an excellent day as well.
Do we see a late dive here from Stallings? This would be for 6th. Can he get to Hughes, or is he going to settle for 7th? I think he's going to settle. He follows the 9 in the 8th there through the final corner. Jared Hughes will come home 6th, Dustin Stallings 7th. A couple more battles in the top 10. Zachary Brandvold, Stephen Borbell, 9th and 10th. And really the only other battle on the racetrack is going to be Carl Pooler and Brendan Maddox. Pooler here in the 71, Maddox in the 23. This is the final fight I see. Can Pooler get back around to the top 15?
It's going to be close here down into the final corner, into turn 17. It looks like it's going to finish the way they came into it.
That's going to be it then for the field, as there is a gathering here in turn number 1. Teammates and affiliates alike as drivers come up into the zone. Oh, watch out. Might have wanted to turn one more lap before doing all this down in the first corner, but regardless, Gavin Rogers celebrating here with his teammates from Next Level Racing, plus an affiliate in Nick Renner. As there is but one car left to finish, and that was Braden Van Wingerden. He will finish 31st. Oh, and Zachary King spoils the celebration here on the front stretch. Plows into the 22 of Nick Renner, and now I think we're about to see the 17 light it up.
It's about time. He's going to bring it back all the way down from turn 1. And there we go. Now he's going to get on to the burnouts. First repeat winner of the season. It was something we didn't get to talk about much tonight, but Gavin Rogers going to be the first candidate to get wins, 2 wins in the season. Who could we see do it next?
A lengthy strip of 11s down the front stretch here for Gavin Rogers, and that's going to be it. He blows the motor on the front straightaway. He did so long of a burnout there. No donuts or anything from him, but that'll be it for the 17 car. Don't need that motor anymore anyways.
Well, just getting word, we figured out what happened to Brendan Maddox. He did a tear-off when he came in and not auto fuel. He had to come back for that fuel.
Wow. Wow, that is...
A costly mistake.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Gavin Rogers celebrating on the front stretch. That motor has expired. He is beached, if you will. As a couple of cars do some extra laps here on the racetrack. Brendan Maddox actually one of them. I think he's, frustrated. And there you see the frustrations boiling over for car 23. But celebration still on the front straight away from those Next Level Racing drivers, including Jared Hughes. And Jared actually might have been, we're going to have to wait on an official word maybe, but he might have been the top driver. Well, no, I think Isaiah went for it too. Johnny Wood Jr., Isaiah Sutherland, Jared Hughes, I think they're going to be the top 3 in the BRB bonus brawl here to start this bonus brawl off. As they come home 4th, 5th, and 6th. Let's go back and sink back in the replay a little bit and then go through our unofficial race results this evening from Circuit of the Americas. Gavin Rogers comes home 1st. Ronnie Osmer 2nd. Dylan Yeager 3rd. We will wait on more official word on who is the top driver in the BRB bonus brawl after one race of 3. But that's your top 10 there. Rogers, Osmer, Yeager, Wood, Sutherland, your top 5. Hughes and Stallings, very close between those two, 6th and 7th. Adam Buzzio, 8th. Zachary Brandvold, 9th. And Stephen Borbell in 10th.
11th place will be Gray Walker. A great day for him, even after having to make his last pit stop. 22 of Nicholas Reiner in 12th, and it's Kyle Heath in 13th. 14th will be Richard Wolsifer. 15th, 16th will be Brendan Maddox, Carl Pooler, Christian Barnes, and Coulter Clark are your last 2 cars on the lead lap. 17th and 18th. 19th will be Eric Jensen, and Scott Fritz, there's no junior there, rounds out the top 20.
Finishing 21st, Cameron Gilmore, first car 1 lap down. Sam Dyer, 22nd, then Evan Patinko, Zachary Maddox, Andrew Rattel, and Zachary King. Already, some of those drivers getting in the Discord chat saying that was the most fun they've ever had, racing for positions outside the top 20. Well, I'm glad they had some fun. That's all you can ask for that kind of circumstance. I'm glad they enjoyed it, because we couldn't tell, honestly, if they were having fun or getting mad and throwing haymakers, but I'm glad that it was the fun side of that. King there in 26th, Bottoms, Dorsey, Bly, they're all teammates. They finished 27th through 29th, just ahead of Cameron Carden, who comes home 30th. Braden Van Wingerden there in 31st, 3 laps down. Mason Houseman ends up 32nd. He got back on the racetrack, but still 4 laps down at the end of the race. Robert Moyer, Braxton Skinner, Matthew Selby, some big heartbreak for some of those drivers. Skinner and Selby out early, along with Parrott, Quarter, Hernandez, Stockero, and Camper. And one car did not see the start of the race. That was Caden Perkins. His power went out during practice, and it never came back. But that'll do it for on-track activity here at Circuit of the Americas. Let's dive right into these top 3 interviews, beginning with, of course, race winner Gavin Rogers. He flipped each of the first 2 stages, so we haven't talked to you yet tonight, Gavin, but it was a solid night from the get-go for Car 17. You and Mason, of course, opted to start from the pits. Why is that?
We were just trying something. We wanted to see how well each other could get, through a field, and just kind of testing our skill there. But we figured we were probably going to flip the stage, and well, at least I did the first one, and Mason got high up enough. I kind of got hit by somebody. I can't remember who. I got spun, but I had to flip the stage to get those positions back, and fortunately I was, I think, the only guy to really flip it in the first stage, besides I think Nick, but he pitted within the 2 to go. But overall, it was a good race. That last stage kind of sucked. I feel bad for Mason. I know he was trying his best. My car was it was damaged once he hit me into, I forgot what the corner was, but he hit me pretty good in one corner. He gave back the position, so he knew the right thing to do there. I appreciate that. And yeah, man, the car was, it was handling awful. It felt like a beat up indoor go-kart, because I was trying to use the rear end to turn the car, because the front grip was just not there, and it got to the point where the rear end was cooked, and that's when it was driving awful. But fortunately I had a good lead there. I was just trying to manage, made a ton of mistakes, but fortunately we could pull off a win and get a pretty good team result. I think everybody got in the top 10, so glad things are turning around for next level. Hopefully that gives us a good boost in the team standings, and just have to see how it goes from here.
You mentioned how big it is for Next Level Motorsports to put all 4 of you guys in the top 10. Congratulations there. But what does this mean to you and your family, of course, in the Sundance Pizza ownership? To put that Sundance car in victory lane now twice this season, that's got to be pretty special, considering you've only run, 3 races? You've run twice already?
Yeah, it feels great. They're very proud, and I appreciate their support. They do a lot for us and me and the league as a whole. This league would not be as far along as it is right now without support from people like them. So we really got to give a big kudos to them and all the sponsors for the league. They have a huge part in it, and it's everybody watching as well. We have a lot of supporters when it comes to drivers, and just people, families watching around the country, maybe around the world. I don't know. You guys doing such a great broadcast. It helps us a lot get a good product out there. So we appreciate everything that everybody does for the league.
Gavin, it's good to talk to you. 36 laps led, obviously a strong night for you. When do we see you back in the race car here?
Oh, I had a little schedule set up. I think the next one is Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at it real quick. Go to BRB All-Star. Yeah, I'm going to try to plan for Charlotte, and then I think I'll finish off at Indy Oval. If those go well. If not, then we'll try to fit in a little run at Homestead and see how that goes.
Gavin, it's good to talk to you. I think you would have been driver of the day, but we kind of made a pact. We couldn't vote for you or Mason. You guys are too dang good here on the road courses. Congratulations, regardless, on the race win, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
I appreciate it, brother.
Gavin Rogers this evening, a solid victory once again on a road course, but it's second place, I think, that really steals the limelight here tonight. Ronnie Osmer, a really solid drive through the field. Scott, here he is.
Yeah, Ronnie, I mean, I think your only mistake of the day really was what you made in qualifying. What happened to you in qualifying that put you back in the back?
In simple terms, this track's evil with all the off tracks. So yeah, I got off track all 3 laps of qualifying. So that put me behind in qualifying, and then luckily in the race it didn't matter, so I could get all the off tracks I wanted.
What was it like working through the field in that early portion of the race? Because you made it look pretty easy. Near the end of stage 1, you'd gotten yourself about 9th spot, but you seemed like you kind of held at 9th spot at least until after the first stage.
I was honestly so shocked at how fast I got through the field. At the start of the race, I was like, I'll be happy if I'm in the top, if I reach 20th with the car in one piece at the end of the first stage. And then next thing I know, after the first lap, I'm on both my teammates' bumpers, and they started 13th and 14th.
Seriously, I mean, it was extremely impressive to watch you do what you did. And then there towards the end, you didn't have quite enough time to get up and battle with Gavin Rogers. But talk to me, watch about those 2 drivers were right behind you. It was, I believe, Dylan Yeager and who was it else? It was Sutherland. 2 others right behind you that were bad. It was Junior. What were you thinking when they were right in your mirror? Were you thinking they might make a late race move?
I was getting worried because after me and Dylan's incident where he drove in too deep and spun out, I just started relaxing and was like, all right, there's no way I'm going to catch Gavin. I'm just going to ride, try to finish second. But then next thing I know, it's so easy to get a slowdown penalty here as well. And I kept getting slowdowns, and that's a second and a half almost every 3 turns, it felt like. And it eventually helped Dylan and them catch up to me, and it had me worried because I knew they could make a move just as easily, but fortunately I was able to lock back in at the end and keep them behind me.
Well, not sure how the math is going to work out, but with where Stallings finished, this might make you the new championship points leader. Back and forth between the 2 of you. It's going to be great to watch y'all battle all season long. Congratulations on a 2nd place, man.
Thank you very much.
So Ronnie Osmer rounds out in 2nd. And, of course, we had the rookie of Dylan Yeager finishing in 3rd. It's been an extremely impressive season for the 4-2.
And that impressive season, of course, continues. We know you swept the stages, Dylan, but you put it in the top 3 at the end. Now, what happened to put you in this position to begin with? Because you were, of course, ahead of Ronnie in the first 2 stages, and then you come out behind him here after that restart to begin stage 3. What happened there?
Just a matter of people coming in and pitting before the stage ends. You know, I was willing to take the stage win if the guys in front of me were willing to pit. So I just bit the bullet on that and kind of thought that on pure pace I could get back around them. And it took me a while to get up there and just wasn't quite able to get to him. I had a lot of damage there at the end from lap cars getting in it in front of me. But, you know, we'll take it. Really good points day today, and we'll try and roll that momentum over to wherever we go in the next race.
Bristol next up, a short track, but one that maybe might be in your guys' wheelhouse as dirt drivers over at Full Tilt Sim Sports. You have an extra week to prep for it, the All-Star race break in the middle of that. Do you have experience in this car at Bristol? What's the outlook like there?
I don't think I have any experience there. I mean, it seems like it's a relatively easy track to figure out. I'm just going to have to find out where the lines are and, you know, how to make passes and stuff, but I seem to be able to pick this up pretty quick. Like, I had never ran one of these cars at a road course before this race. We just went out and sent it and somehow weren't too bad. So hopefully I can do the same thing at Bristol and end up with another good result.
Might have found a new calling here on the road courses, but I'll let you think that Bristol is easy. There's a whole lot of nuance in that little half mile. But Dylan, it's good to check in with you here after the race. Another top 3, a bunch of points for your effort this season. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to thank everyone at my team real quick. You know, they're always a big help. Fritz, Selby. I know Selby's probably going to be the meatball of the race again, freaking guy. But yeah, they're a big help, going in and helping me practice throughout the week. And yeah, hopefully they can get their cars up there running up front again here in this next week of racing.
There you go, Dylan Yeager, and when it's all said and done, 3rd place, and looking forward to the future. Dylan, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, brother.
Dylan Yeager, another big night here, this time at Circuit of the Americas. 3rd place when it's all said and done, and we're going to end that Driver of the Day vote. You'll never guess who wins today's Driver of the Day, Scott. Somebody who I don't think has won it yet. I'm so glad I nominated him. His fan club came through here tonight. Gray Walker is your Driver of the Day here at Circuit of the Americas, brought to you, of course, by the North American Racing League. The Accelerate Racing driver, one of the youngest iRacing accounts, one of the youngest iRacers in the field. Here he is, Driver of the Day on a road course.
Congratulations, well deserved to the 18 of Gray Walker. Had a great day, couldn't quite get back into the top 10 right at the end, but I think through all the adversity he faced this evening, he got it done to where he needed to be.
Dylan Yeager, a close second in that vote, and I think either of those drivers definitely deserved it. Gray pulled a ton of spots through the midfield, started 20th, up nearly to the top 10, as low as 25th at one point. He really did a good job working this race, and had we got that yellow, had the strategy gone the right way for her, I can only imagine what could have been for the 18 car, because he was holding off some of the top competitors when they were head-to-head. So congratulations to Gray Walker, today's Driver of the Day. And I'm going to go back. I think Ronnie Osmer, was it, missing those cars early in the race? I'm pretty sure it was Ronnie, right? Getting the Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day award. There might have been some luckier things. We might have missed them. But that one stands out to me.
Mason Hausman.
Was it Mason?
It was.
I could have sworn Ronnie had a near miss at one point.
He probably did. I bet he had a few.
I might be getting crossed up. Let's just move on to races that are upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Who knows? I might be getting incidents confused. It's been a long day, but upcoming broadcast here for us at Pit Stop TV. It's kind of a quiet start to June. I've got an oral surgery coming up, summer shootouts starting up. There's an all-star break in there. You have an oral surgery coming up too?
I am, in July.
There you go. I have mine coming up in a week, so I'm a little scared. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm glad we have this break built in for me to recover from that. It's going to be an interesting start to June for us at Pit Stop TV, but that means that we're next live, planned to be live on June 17th. Now, I'll be candid. We are searching for a producer and commentators for these events that can make these events work in their schedule, because I will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway, all things provided, for the Cookout Summer Shootout, along with Zach Murtis, who will be racing in those events. So if you're out there, if you're watching this broadcast and you're a broadcast producer on iRacing or even a commentator, we would love to have you join us for these broadcasts. We'll provide all the tools you need and set you up for success. We just need somebody to operate and commentate, basically. So this is kind of our advertisement. We're still looking, and if you feel like you can get it done, let us know here at Pit Stop TV. We'd love to have you work for us. So, admittedly, a couple of things are up in the air. We're still working out some of the kinks behind the scenes. Keep an eye out on the BRB Discord server for more information there. Otherwise, Bristol coming up on June 17th, and then the Majors 24, Scott. This is going to be a huge weekend for us. It was big a year ago, and it's going to be, I think, even bigger this time. I can't say exactly what split we're slated for yet, but I think we'll be talking about it here soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Majors 24 is one of the biggest events on iRacing that is privately hosted anyways, and it might surpass some expectations this year. Also, rain is expected in large, copious amounts. So it will be our first rain broadcast here on Pit Stop TV as well.
Well, that is going to be great. You better have your graphics card all updated and ready to go for the rain. And speaking of, talking about some of those assistances that we'll get on those Tuesdays, you can reach out to us on all of our social medias and follow us on our social medias, obviously at our website, pitstoptv.com, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and X. It's all up there. You can find us. Reach out to Andrew and us here at Pit Stop TV, or follow the channel and get watching for some racing. The Majors 24 is going to be awesome. 12 hours for us in the booth, 24 hours for the drivers, and you don't want to miss a moment.
12 hours at least for us, we'll say, with a winky face there maybe, but stay tuned for everything coming up with the Majors 24 here on Pit Stop TV, and of course, as always, the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series here on Pit Stop TV. A lot is on the way for the rest of 2025. But that'll be it for us as far as things go on the racetrack, upcoming broadcasts, and things of the sort. I want to give a big thank you, of course, to our partners with the series, the Buttkicker, the leader in haptics, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, Sundance Pizza, Performance Food Group, and Maddox Graphics. All great partners of this BRB Racing League. We also want to give a big thank you to our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. Congratulations to Dylan Yeager on sweeping the stages, Gavin Rogers on going to victory lane here tonight. Scott, thank you for joining me on the fly. Glad to have you. Can't wait to get Zach Murtis back on one of these broadcasts. Can't wait to come back later this season. Remember, that coverage, I'll be back, basically, for Rockingham, Miami in the back end of the season. Still a few things to be determined and announced for the mid-portion of this season, but a lot of great races coming up regardless here in this BRB Racing League and the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you in the next one here on Pit Stop TV. This has been the Castle Smart Alarm 250.